But I can't live without you is the topic we're going to talk about today. But I can't live without you. And I'm wondering, how terrible of a place do a person have to be in to say, to realistically say, but I can't live without you? How dangerous is that for a person to have to say, but I can't live without you? Y'all going through the trials and tribulations, everything that you're going through, possibly in the relationship, y'all going through all these different things, and they get to the point where they break down and they say, but I can't live without you. Man, how would that how would that make you as an individual, as a man? How would that make you feel if you're looking at this woman and y'all breaking up, y'all going through this, y'all arguing, y'all fussing, almost fighting, or even fighting, and you say, "Look, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore." And she break down to the point where she say, "But I can't live without you." There's a big fail there on a lot of different levels. But I can't live without you. So you're telling me that hopefully you both are adults, are adult. So you're telling me that all the years that you existed, you have not been living until you met me. I'm not the source of your life. It you can't live that. To me, that would hurt my feelings to have the young lady say that. I can't live without you. What do you think? How bad of a place do a person have to be to think in their own mind that they cannot live without their significant other, their spouse, or whoever that person is? 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give me a call. I would love to hear from you, and hear what you think about this. But I can't live without you. Domestic violence comes to mind as well. A person, they become so beaten and so bruised and so down on themselves, lack of a better term, so down on themselves that they feel as though they can't live without the assaulter, without the person that's abusing them. But I can't live without you. Have you ever seen anyone in a situation like that? But I can't live without you, and that's their mindset. Have you ever seen an individual like that? And again, how would you react? How would you react to that reality of this person standing before you? You are ready to end the relationship. You're ready to end it because you know it's not healthy. Some of the things that you all are doing, some of the things that you all are doing to each other are not healthy. They're not healthy. And then this person break down before you and say, "But I can't live without you." Man, that's, to me, that is so very hurtful. Honestly speaking, it would really, really, if I could be transparent with you, it would really bring a tear to my eye to realize that this person is so lost. This person is so lost within themselves that they feel as though they can't live without me. Who am I that you can't live without? Who am I that you can't live without? Wait a minute. What do you think? What do you think there is in me that's going to sustain your life? That you feel as though you can't live without me? Help me understand. I don't understand it. But I can't live without you. That's a miserable place to have to live. To think that you cannot exist without this person. You did very well before you met him. You did very well. You lived your life. And now, because of the fact that it became a little rocky and the relationship is about to end, do you really feel as though you can't live without him? Do you really feel that way? You know that, and people say prayer changes everything, and I believe that. Prayer is a big part of it. Prayer is a huge part of it. But at the same time, you should have been praying a long time ago to deliver you from this demon. So that's what to me that's what it is. That's a demon that's in you that need to be cast out. Because if you're in a situation where you feel like though as though you can't live without me or anybody else, you got a large to me, you have a larger problem than just me being in or not being in your life. You have a larger problem. You have a much larger problem if that's the case. Because again, like I said, who am I? Who am I that you feel as though you can't live without? What do you think is so special about me that you cannot exist if I walk out of your life? I ain't that special. And I ain't, and not trying to put myself down, but I'm not that special to think that, or to think, or to have you to think that you can't live without me. So there's some layers there, man. There's some terrible layers there. That's ugly to me. That's absolutely ugly. And I would feel bad. I would feel bad that you feel that as though you can't live without me. You existed very well before I came into your life, and so you now that I came into your life, or I became a part of your life, you feel as though if I leave your life, you can't live. You can't live without me, man. There's a hurt inside of you that need to be cured. And honestly speaking, I don't think it has anything to do with me. I think it's something that's deep inside of you that somebody need to touch on to get you up out of that situation. We have a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Cassandra Green calling from
Oh, there she
Savannah,
go. There,
Georgia.
there she go. Now I tell y'all, an expert on domestic violence is going to be calling in this morning, and she's going to be talking to us and educating us on this whole situation. This one I'm talking about right now. Good morning, Cassandra. Thank you for calling in. I definitely appreciate you, Cassandra.
Absolutely. Mm.
We're talking about, but I can't live without you. And I was explaining to the audience that I would feel bad if a person stood before me and told me I can't live without you, because who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And not trying to put myself down or anything, but reality, who am I that you can't live without? There's something in you there's a hurt in you that you have been trying to get me to feel, but I can't feel that hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, there's usually a brokenness in people that say that or that feel that way that they can't live without another person. There is something broken in you that makes you feel like, okay, I can't live. And it doesn't have to be like a love interest as far as boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a parent to say they can't live without their child. It could be,
Mm-hmm.
I can't live. It's so many different scenarios, but it's sad and it's dangerous
Yes.
for people to feel that way. And I was told that, I was told that by my ex-husband, who actually he could have killed me, and I'm suffering now with a result of brain injury that he did to me. So in his words to me was, I'll kill you before I let you leave me.
Mm.
And I was like, wait a minute. I said, no, I said, I'm not worth it.
Yeah.
Just what you said.
Mm-hmm.
That was my words to him.
Yeah.
I said, listen, I'm not worth it. You definitely, you know, don't feel that way. I would not want you to go to jail,
Yeah.
be away from your family,
Mm-hmm.
me be away from my children.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that special. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But that's what he said. And then another scenario that I've dealt with, I was managing a store at South DeKalb Mall. There was a store right across from me, a woman's store that a young lady worked in, beautiful young woman. And she had a 17-year-old son that was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept saying to the people around, all of us, she kept saying, I can't, when she did come back after the funeral, she said, I can't do this. I can't live without my son. And she had like two other boys. And we kept, encouraging her, I know this hurts right now, but you can make it through this. She just kept saying, no, I can't live without my son.
Mm.
And do you know that about a month and a half after her son was killed, she went in her bedroom, closed the door, and blew her brains out with
Wow.
her other two children in the house. So
Mm.
we cannot say that we can't live without someone. Yes, you can. It will hurt,
Yes.
but you can live without them.
Mm-hmm. And you said something, Cassandra, and we're gonna get into the domestic violence side of it as well, because a lot of time the person that's abused feel as though they can't live without the abuser, and so that's
Mhm.
another level of it. But I have an issue, and I would have an issue if this young lady came before me, and we was about to break up. We've been going through a rough time, and we're about to break up. And she come to, and in her tears, she looked at me and she said, I can't live without you. Because Sandra, that would hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will hurt me
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
know that there's an emptiness inside of her that,
Mhm.
hopefully I was able to help her along the course, but there's an emptiness inside of her, Cassandra, that I can't feel. Man
Yeah.
can feel it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
and
That type of emptiness, I feel like only God fills that type of a void in a
yes,
person's life.
yes, yes.
Another human being cannot fill that type of a void
Mm-mm.
in a person's life. It's
No.
impossible.
Hmm.
It's impossible, you know.
But
So yeah, I totally agree.
see, far too often, though, Cassandra, far too often, um, people look for other individuals to fill those voids in their life.
Fill a void.
Yeah, they look for other individuals to step in and to make them whole again, and to make
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Cassandra, that's to me, you're looking in the wrong places. You're looking in the wrong places,
Absolutely.
and so and we said we was going to talk about this. Let's go a little bit into domestic violence because I know this is your area, and this is something that is very near and dear to your heart.
Hmm.
Being able to help people through domestic violence situations. If somebody came to you and they've been in an abusive relationship, Cassandra, and in the course of them being in an abusive relationship, they say to you, "Well, I have to go back because I just can't live without him, or I just can't live without her." Cassandra, what's your next action at that time?
My next move would be for them to explain to me why they feel, because a lot of times if you can get people to actually state why they feel like they can't live without the person, you can get to the root
Mm-hmm.
of what their particular issue is. Okay, I love him. He's the only person that ever loved me. No. Okay, you don't tell them no, that's not the situation, but you explain to them that you there are people that love you, there are people around you that are willing to support you.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you feel that way? Okay, you say that. Why do you say that? What? Because there is something there that if you listen closely enough, you'll be able to pick up what it is, the key things that they're saying. My dad, left my mom, and she was never the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want, and I was never the same. And I don't want my children to go through that, blah, blah, blah. If it's the husband, or the child father. And it's a lot of different key things that you can listen for to dig in and to get to where the problem is. For me, Green, I can be honest and transparent about it.
Mm-hmm.
My father never had anything to do with me. Him and my mother never, like, they weren't married.
Mm-hmm.
We never had any kind of connection. And so all my life, I was searching for someone to give me the kind of love that I felt like my father should have given me.
Mm.
That was wrong. My thinking on that was wrong.
Yes.
So then what did I do? I'm searching for that type of love that I feel like my father should have given me. We cannot get that from another
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
You have to deal with the issue that, hey, my father, for whatever reason, he didn't want to be a part of my life. Okay, now I have to deal with that and then get myself healed before I move on. Because what we do as human beings is a lot of times we take our baggage from relationship to
Yes.
relationship
Yes.
to relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because we have not been healed from whatever it is that wounded us to the point that we felt like we could not live without another person.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thing is always to listen. That's why, when I'm talking to people about domestic violence, I never tell them, well, you should know better, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
I listen
Yeah.
to find out where that pain is coming from, and then we can go from there.
Okay, once you and that's good. That's good. Once you listen to them and once you hear their hearts and hear where they're coming from and find the source of that pain, do you tackle it at that moment, or is it something that that it's an ongoing situation? It's an ongoing situation where you spoon feed them and spoon feed them until you get them to where they need to be.
Yes, and every person is different. You have to. This is why, for me, from a spiritual standpoint,
Mhm.
because as a pastor, when I counsel people, that's why it's always important for me to listen. Listen.
Mhm.
Everything is about listening. I'm not going to treat one person the same way that I do another. I have to see whether some people are very delicate, and you have to handle them in a certain, in a certain way. Even with the words that you say to them,
Yes.
you have to be careful what you say to them. And then there's somebody else, you got to come at them like straight, like
Mhm.
boom,
Mhm.
like look here, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. And you just have to discern. That's why when you're operating and dealing with people in their emotions, and you need to make sure that you are hearing from the Spirit of God as to how you need to deal with them.
Yeah.
It's not a fix all situation, Raheem, with anybody that's going through a trauma, a distress, a hurt. You have to listen to God as to
Mhm.
what to say and how to say it,
That's good.
always.
That's good. And we have our Christy. Good morning, Christy. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Morning Glow family.
Morning.
What we're talking about
Hey, Mr. Sandra.
Hey, sweetie.
what we're talking about this morning, and Christy, I'm glad that you're here, because we have to we're gonna help. I think we're gonna really help a lot of people today. And what we're talking about is, but I can't live without you. But I can't live without you. And when a person get to a situation, and I said at the beginning of the broadcast that I would be hurt if a person came to me and we're about to split up, and they say to me, "But I can't live without you." I would be hurt because I know that there's something in you that's messed up, that's not right, and I can't feel it. And so, what do you say to a person, or have you ever been that person? You could go as deep as you want to, that felt or said or felt that I can't live without you. What kind of space is that, Christy?
You know, speaking from the speaking from abuse or abuse-matic ideology, um, usually that's what's been embedded into the person when they're physically and mentally abusing them. They often say, "Nobody else can do what I do for you. You can't make it without me." Um, and that's just a mind control, because if the person believes that I can't make it without you, then that means I can do anything to you and you're going to stay.
Mm,
I can beat you, I can rape you, I can let my friends have their way with you, I can make money off of you, I can beat you with an inch of your life, but yet you won't go anywhere because you can't make it without me.
mm,
And that is a very delicate state to be in. The emotional roller coaster that comes with that, almost in disparity of, you know, I'm a firm believer for myself that I can't make it without God.
come on.
And as long as I have God in my life, then you yourself in a human form is maybe wanted but not needed. And once
Mhm.
we start getting into that mind frame and get into relationships, because I hear people all the time say, "You complete me. I want someone to complete me." And that's a wrong mind frame, because you should be already completed
Come on.
by yourself. You should
Yes.
already be whole. You should already be one. And then one meets one equals two, but it combined is one. You know, and so many times we have brokenness and we have hurt, and it's like Erica Badu say, "Bag lady, you got too many bags,"
Mhm.
you know, and you're carrying bags from relationship till you almost get into this situation where you're tired of being in a relationship. You're tired of starting over. You're tired of the pain. So then you get into this place of, you know what? I'm going to hold on to this no matter what.
Mm.
Even if he is out here sleeping with other people, at least he's mine and I'm not alone. You go into those different things when you allow yourself to settle. And that's one thing that God doesn't want us to settle. And I like Miss Cassandra, you have to be careful how you talk to people
Yes.
because you never know state people are in, and you have to handle them as such. Like I know for myself, you can't really just talk to me sweet, nice, kind if I'm emotional. If I'm in my emotional state, you gonna literally have to get in my face. You know, I'm that type of
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm calm, we can have a conversation. But when I get to that level in my emotions, or you can't deal with me because I done clicked my mind and went somewhere else. You talking sweet nice is gonna get you punched or hit or moved out my way or said some ugly things to. So you have to know who you are and how you handle things to know what you're needing. And you just that's to say that is sad. Like my heart pours out. If I was to break up with someone and they said that, I would definitely have to begin to minister to them. Like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one should have that much control over you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Cassandra, what do you say to that? Because that's dangerous. That is to say that or to live in that space. Cassandra, to me, that's very dangerous. What do you say?
Oh no, it's extremely dangerous, and I've lived in that space, so I know what it's like, and you have to really, I'm telling you, the pain. I understand where people are, whether it's a male or a female, when they're in a space where they feel like a person is essential to their life.
Mm-hmm.
That is like crazy. Like you, this is why I'm funny about certain songs. Like I think it was Tony Braxton that did this song that says something like I can't breathe without you or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Heffa, yes you can breathe without him. Take a deep breath, go and
Exactly.
blow it out,
Yeah.
exhale. You can live without what is I can't breathe without you.
Mhm.
And that may seem like something simple. I'm serious. That may seem like something simple, but those types of words is what gets people into trouble. You can breathe without another person. You
Mhm.
can exist. You can live further. You can have happiness. You can, because let me tell you something. There are people that committed suicide
Yes.
over another person. And
Mhm.
I know if they thought about that thing, and I'm once again being transparent. I was in a relationship, and I was so hurt by me, the person breaking up,
Mhm.
that I took pills. I
Wow.
actually took pills. I
Mhm.
wanted to die
Mhm.
because I loved that person, and I felt like just what we're talking about. I
Yeah.
can't live without them. And when I woke up, I started throwing up, and that was, God's way, and God began to deal with me. What is
Yes.
wrong with you? That
Exactly.
you would take your life because of another human being.
Mhm.
And then later on, when I did fall in love with somebody more than I felt like I was in love with, it was like, girl, you just a stupid. Look at you. You was you you was trying to take your life. This Negro going on about his business.
Yeah.
Now you in love with somebody else.
Mhm.
What if I had succeeded? So sometimes what we feel like is our darkest hour, it may just be something moving you to a better horizon.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. Sometimes you just gotta, dust yourself off, man, and move on.
Yeah,
What happens?
yeah,
What happens, Christy? When a person and you spoke briefly on this earlier, when a person is like, well, and they're feeding these people these things. Well, don't nobody else want you but me. I don't know why you where you gonna go? You ain't got nowhere to go. Where you gonna go? Who wants you other than me? And nobody else wants you but me. And see, that's
You
that.
know,
Go ahead.
that's a hard place to be in because I was there. I can
Mm,
speak on what I know,
yeah.
where I was alienated from my family.
Wow.
I was in a different city from my family. It was just me and my children. and he would always tell me that I was a Rembrandt. Um, I wasn't pretty. I had to wear my hair straight. Then he didn't like it straight, so I went natural. Then I mean, it was just a controlling situation. And I was a stay-at-home mom, so because he didn't want his children to be suffering in the daycare, so he controlled the finances, he controlled the money, he controlled the groceries, what we bought, what we ate, and he
Mm.
would always tell me that I would be nothing without him. I graduated with a 3.5 GPA in computer science, with my associate in computer science during this time, and he would often tell me how dumb I was.
Mm.
And then I was like, dang, you know, you're dumb and you can't do this and this wasn't done. So you get to the system where you start when somebody tells you something over and over and over, you begin to believe that.
Mm.
That's why words are so powerful
Yes,
because
yes.
your words will make someone feel good, make them feel bad. But if you say it enough to a person, like you tell a person enough, you can't live without me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all you got.
Yeah.
Your mama don't want you. Your
Mm.
daddy don't talk to you. I'm all you got. I'm the one here taking care of you. I'm the one that's doing this. And you begin after so many of hearing it, you believe it. So you get in that state where you know what? I can't live without him.
Mm.
He does this. So it's really, I mean, when you get there, now you're trapped because now you feel as though you have no way out. So then the abuse began because now you don't believe that you have nowhere to go, that he's the only person that love and care about you. So now, why would you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Even if at its worst, why would you leave? Because you have nowhere else to go. And
Wow.
once that's what happens when you believe that is you get trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to, it takes a strong person to come and tell you that you're worth something. And even afterwards, after you leave that person, maybe you get out, you still have some psychological
Yeah.
things that it took
Yeah.
me a long time to say I was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a long time to know that I'm smart. I
Mm-hmm.
had to look myself in the mirror and I'm gonna say detoxify myself
Wow.
from that by telling myself in the mirror. I would have to look in the mirror every day. You are worth it. You are
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. You are smart. You are intelligent. You are strong. And I'm telling you, I'm about to cry because it's so real to me. Because if I didn't look in the mirror every day, it was hard for me to look at myself. It was
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to even to fathom the idea that somebody else could love me and want me, other than all the things that he said. Other
Mm-hmm.
than that I
Mm-hmm.
was worth more than that. It took me a
Mm-hmm.
long time to be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, you are beautiful something.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's why when I greet people, or when I greet people at work, or I greet people everywhere I go, Miss Cassandra, you'll know and you'll remember. Whenever I met anyone there, I say, "Hey, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, handsome," because I want to always put in something positive, whether you heard negative. So every time I greet anybody, I say, "Hey, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was your day?"
Mm-hmm.
That's just because that's in me to continue to remind myself that I am beautiful and worthy.
Exactly. Planting those positive seeds. Cassandra, we got another caller. Caller, we come to you in just 1 second. But Cassandra, I want you. You heard your sister just now talking. I want you, sister, to talk to her just for a second, and how will you go? Talk to your sister.
No, listen, all I can do is affirm exactly what she said
Mm-hmm.
because, the same way I've been told that I was ugly, most of my childhood. And then to get in a relationship and as a control mechanism for this person to tell me, nobody else is going to want you,
Mm-hmm.
look at you, blah, 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 and, talk to me like I was stupid, and Christy, I graduated a year ahead of time
Mm-hmm.
with a baby. I had a baby at 15. I graduated high school at 16, a year ahead of time. And so I know that I wasn't dumb,
Mhm.
but you made me feel dumb by the way that you spoke to me and the things that you said to me. So I know that we have to be able to get over those words. And
Yes.
then, and I'm, Christy, you did great because it took me until I was like probably in my 40s, the first time I ever said, you know what? You are pretty. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And pretty is different things to different
Yes, it
people.
is.
But it took me into my 40s to realize that I'm pretty. I'm beautiful in the eyes of God and even in the eyes of other people because people would say, you look so cute. You always look so pretty. And I'd be like, oh boy. To myself, I would immediately downplay it and say, nah, they ain't talking about me,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. So the damage that can be done is so tremendous and getting over it can take years. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead,
it
go ahead,
takes
Chris. We
years.
got another caller. Caller, hold on. We're gonna come to you in just 1 second. But these ladies, man, they're helping so many people. So bear with me just for a second,
It,
caller. Go ahead, Christy.
it took me, Miss Cassandra, it took me so long. I wouldn't
Mhm.
even look in the mirror to get dressed. I wouldn't look in the mirror to
Mhm.
comb my
Mm.
hair. I wouldn't look in the mirror. I wouldn't wear makeup. And then the sad part is, Miss Cassandra, is I got so confused. I didn't know who I was because he controlled me so much on what to eat and where to go that when it came down to me being by myself to try to figure out what I wanted to eat, I didn't even know what I like. I was like, well, I remember this is the brand he used to buy, and I would
Mm.
purposely buy the opposite brand
Opposite.
because I was like,
Mhm.
it's just like it was just in my brain, like the way I even
Mhm.
cook. It was like, oh, he didn't like these spices, so I bet not put it in there. It takes a
Mhm.
long time
Yes.
to get those mannerisms, because you
Mhm.
are on autopilot. So you just go, and then when you finally get set free, you still do the same thing in the
Mhm.
same order, and you
Mhm.
act as though you're still there with that person.
Mm.
Mhm.
I remember I had my own apartment and I'm telling you, I would buy the same thing that he bought. It was just like he had trained my body and my mind in a
Mm.
certain manner.
Mm.
So I almost went back to him because he called and I was like, oh yeah. It's a process. That's why I tell people that, when you don't give up on people that go back because that's all they know. They
Yeah.
don't
No.
know
Mhm.
anything
Mhm.
different and they don't know how to function with being free and they play with their
Mhm.
minds. And so
Mhm.
by you cutting them off and getting angry, you ain't been there. You sometimes you ain't been in the situation. So you looking at it from an eye of a person that's already strong, already together. But you got to look at it from them. This man is the person that can put all this in, and that's a process to get that stuff out. It's
Mm-hmm.
a process to raise yourself up to where you need to be able to say I'm strong. That's why I made my pen name Shira Strong because she's real strong. He's strong. She's strong. We are all strong because we can get through it together. It takes a village to help a person, just one woman or man that's been battered psychologically and physically. It takes a whole community just to bring her back to just her original point and then deal with all the mess that she had to deal with at that point. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a lot
How
and
long?
it takes a care.
How long? How long? And caller, I know I see I'm coming to you, caller. Please be patient with me. But how long? And this is for both of you ladies. How long do you carry that? How do you and how do you know you've overcome it?
I still carry it.
Wow.
I do too. It
Wow.
it it it, it is something. I'm telling you. That's why when people are damaged, man, sometimes that's why like for most of us as black people, we couldn't afford to go to the psychiatrist and the psychologist. So it took us even longer. Or even we didn't even in the black community when it comes to mental health issues, it was taboo for years, and it
Mm-hmm.
still is taboo in a lot of neighborhoods. The minute you say, "Hey, man, I'm going to go to a counselor," even if it's a pastor,
Yeah.
we that what happens in the house stays in the house stuff messed us up big time,
Mm-hmm.
messed us up because we still live under that shadow
Wow. Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
where we don't talk
Mm,
about things that need to be discussed because that's the way grandmama, great grandmama, everybody did it like that. You just did not talk about it. So
mm.
damage transcends sometimes through the generations.
Wow. What do you say to that, Christy? You and I heard you say that you still carry it today, but Cassandra said something, and it was powerful. What happens in the house stays in the house, and so you have to actually
Yeah.
suppress. You have to actually suppress this pain that you're feeling, and you can't go out there and really
Do
talk to
you
nobody because go ahead, sister, go ahead.
do you know how many children were molested by their uncles and aunties that the mom and dad knew about it and told them that they did not say nothing? Because what goes on in this house stays in this house. We're gonna handle it as a family. Do you know how many children that were
Yeah,
pregnant by uncles and aunties or molested by
yeah,
aunties? I have a friend right now who was molested by her aunt, and she said she tell anybody her family would disown her and they give her all money and everything.
Mm,
So I mean that is a reality in this life, in this world, and it's not only the black community. I'm gonna say it's America period
yeah.
because you have so many skeletons in so many closets of what they're doing and hiding, and people are hiding for them. I'm gonna tell
Mm-hmm.
you right now, we're dealing with a sheriff who has beaten and molested this girl. They're trying to get him out of office, but they kept it quiet for so long because he was the sheriff. Let
Mm,
me tell y'all, people hide things, but the damage, when we say like, do you still carry it? I still carry mine every day because I have multiple domestic violence situations. I just didn't go through just one. I have multiple. And
mm-hmm.
so when you have multiple, it's like you going back to the same thing that you got back from in a different form. It's in a different form. It looks different, it smells different, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
when you go through that, it makes you a little different. It makes you a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And I carry it, but it's like I said in my speech, I carry my badge as an honor because it lets me know where I've been and my journey to where I am. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people look at that as a shame
Yeah.
or look at it as, oh, well, this is negative, and it is. But once you get set free, that's a map. That rage you feel. Because for a long time, I had rage too, because rage was given to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever I got set free, I became what I hated. You know, I to a man, like you bow up to me, I'm gonna bow back. You fight
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm gonna fight you. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go
Yeah.
back to what I went. I'm not gonna lay there and take it. But it made the abuse more volatile and it made it
Mm.
more dangerous for me. So then I got the no care attitude to where I didn't care about nothing or no one.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I did a lot of stuff now looking back on it that I should have been dead a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But in it, you still carry it. You still carry those memories. You still carry the flashback. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I revert back and I have to remind myself, hey, you're strong.
Mm-hmm.
You're beautiful.
Yes.
You're an amazing woman. God put you here for a purpose. And my favorite scripture, God has a plan for you, a plan to prosper you and not to harm you.
Mm-hmm.
God knows the number of hairs that's on your head. We can look toward the hills from where your help comes from, for all your help comes from God.
Come on.
God pulled you out of the miry clay and placed your feet on a solid foundation. Through your trials and your tribulation and work as patience. God has a place for you. He has a plan. I have to tell myself this constantly, constantly. I told myself these things. And you begin just like when they tell you something negative constantly, you believe it. When you start telling yourself positive things, you start to believe it. You start to be able to make more footsteps. You be able
Mm-hmm.
to start to wake up without crying. You start to be able to feel a little bit more. You'll be able to kind of take out some of your demons that you had deep down inside that you didn't know. And it's a process because I'm finding out things about myself every day as I go deeper in Christ and I look and go, I say, oh Lord, there go that it didn't come out. So let me deal with that. Oh
Mm-hmm.
dang, that's that. Oh, okay. Because you can't deal with it all at one time or you'll go crazy.
Exactly. Let me go to the caller, and we ladies, please don't go nowhere. Let me go to the caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm talking to myself.
Oh.
Uh, I was on mute.
Donna, Donna,
Morning.
before you tell everybody who you are, Donna, and where you calling from.
I'm this Tucson down. Called from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Pascagoula.
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 I'm from Opelousas.
Man, why can't you get a city with just a few letters in it, man? Why all your cities gotta have 12 letters,
Leon
man?
A. Opelousas.
But Donna, what we're talking about today, and I'm glad you're here because I want to hear from another man's perspective as well. If you're dealing with a young lady and y'all having issues and y'all are going to split up, and she look at you, tears in her eyes, and she say to you, "But I can't live without you." To me, I would feel as though I failed her. And when I say I failed her, because I didn't do anything to help this sickness that's in her, because I'm nobody, man. How you? I'm nobody. What can I do? I'm nobody. Not trying to put myself down, but I'm nobody, man. How you gonna say you can't live without me? I'm nothing. I'm having a hard time living with myself. And so,
Mm,
how would you feel if a lady looked at you and said that to you, Donald?
mm. You're not gonna start with me this morning, buddy.
Mm. Come
Uh,
on.
um, but that takes a lot of. Uh, that's an eye opener
Yeah.
because something is more than me. It's it started before me
Mm-hmm.
that would cause her to feel like that. Because first of all, something along the way, along the line of life, caused her to not love herself.
Yes. Yes.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the only person that I cannot do without is God,
Come on.
that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody else gets somewhere inside.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that harshly, but we live in a system. People have been damaged. And I shared you that book.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, when you see that book, you see me. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you see that the author and all of that, but you see me because I watched that book grow from an empty page to where it is. Because and Cassandra and Sheila Strong, um, when you we are wonderfully, beautifully made by God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. And he has a tendency to bring us through some things, not for our destruction, for our help. You may see it along the line. It may take a while. But then you have to look in the mirror and see the beauty that lies within. Because man look on the outward
Yes,
appearance, but
sir.
God knows the heart.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's
It's
good.
all in that. It's all in that book right there. What I shared with you, I promise you it is. And
And
I'm sharing that because yeah. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, because I seen this beautiful women, and both of you all beautiful women,
Yes.
because it's more than what others see, is
Mm-hmm.
what you see.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with nobody else. No matter what they think, no matter what you've gone through, God has a way of shaping us
Mm-hmm.
and molding us. And it may be damaged on the outside,
Mm-hmm.
but the Spirit of God renews you every day,
Yes.
every day.
Exactly. And
And
I need to ask this
he
question.
puts you on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I want to ask the ladies this
He
question.
puts you on it.
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, finish your thought, brother.
No, he puts you on the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
He puts you on the wheel, and he works the work in you.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to sit there and just turn around. Life will turn you around. But
Mm-hmm.
when you come out, you're like this precious diamond that it took all the pressure of life for you to sparkle. I'm just saying.
And that's beautiful. So let me go to Cassandra, and what Donald said was absolutely amazing right there. And it's true. But what happens when you can't see that you are a diamond? And how does one vision become so clouded that they can't even see the beauty that's within themselves because they're looking outward at somebody else?
No, no. I mean, but that happens. That happens a lot. A lot of times, we see ourselves, especially broken people.
Mm-hmm.
We see ourselves through the eyes of others. What that person says about me matters more than what I may be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
we the reflection that we see, is not what we are to God. It's not what we should be to ourselves, but is what you say that I am, because I love you, and and you are the person that I expect to see what's really in me. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's reflective of a lot of people's relationships. They see themselves as other people. Let me tell you, I used to be a total people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what the damage that was done to me, even from a little girl, I felt like I had to make sure that everybody loved me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody saw just the best, even to my own detriment. Someone could be destructive with me, and I would still want to be their friend because that made me feel like I was loved, I was accepted,
Mm.
and that was everything to me. I was in a friendship with somebody, and to this day, I mean, I still consider them a friend, but they used to say sometimes the most cruel things to me, like somebody would say, "Oh, you're so pretty, you look so good," and she said, "Why are you saying that? She is not pretty." Blah blah blah.
Wow.
And people, listen now. This was my best friend, and people would notice it, and I'd be like, okay, whatever she says,
Mm-hmm.
because she's my friend. If she
Yeah.
says I'm not pretty, then I'm not pretty.
Mm.
And I really had to get to a place. My bishop and my ex-husband told me. They said, "Listen, that's not what friends do. You know, friends don't tear you down like that. She's jealous of you, and you're allowing it because you just accept whatever she says, and,
Mm-hmm.
and, and you let it ride."
Yeah.
And then one day she did it, and it's like a light bulb came on. A guy said that that I looked really pretty and I looked nice. And she said something very negative.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you looking at? I don't see that. And a light bulb, boom,
Mm-hmm.
like it just immediately came on. And I was like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Why would my best friend
Exactly.
say that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up, moving away from her,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that there was something broken in her, why she
Yes.
had to down me
Yep.
every time.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Tina from Jonesboro.
Hey, Tina. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm driving. I
Good.
know it's probably a little loud.
No, no.
Hey.
You're fine. What we're talking about is, but I can't live without you, and how a person could become so broken, and they feel as though they can't live without another individual. Tina, what do you say to that?
Right. I think I've been there younger. When I was younger, I'm feeling like, oh, I can't live without you. And then I think you said it earlier, the next month or two, I'm like living my best life. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna act a fool last week. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we put too much into one person that you feel like you can't go on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because putting, all your eggs in one basket instead of spreading it out within yourself, loving yourself. You allowing that person to make you, complete you. And I think that's why we feel as if that person's gone. Now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
I can't live without me.
Mm-hmm.
What do I supposed to do now? When you're supposed to have your own stuff going on that you only have to worry about if somebody leaves or not. You're like, okay, well, that was a lesson learned. Keep it
Mm-hmm.
moving.
Yeah,
Next.
exactly. Exactly. But how does
But a lot of
how does a person, Tina, and I'm gonna ask the other young ladies this, and Donna as well, but how does a person allow
yeah.
themselves to get so lost that they find themselves in a rut like that? I mean, what happens to get a person there?
They already lost. Like one lady was saying earlier about the daddy issue, and I have said that before as well, that I didn't know I'm always searching for my daddy in men because I didn't have that daddy's home love. I didn't have that. I don't even understand that. Like when I see that, I'm looking like, okay, you know, I just never had that. Even with my dad in the house, the whole time, you know, I was growing up, he was always there. But I still, and that probably went back in his past. He didn't know how to love like that. So I think it's just something in everybody's DNA of how you act when you're younger or how you was raised that transcends into how you are as an adult. And I had to say it out loud that that's what I was doing in order for me to get past it. Because I just thought that, this is who I need to be in my life and but that wasn't the case. I had to find myself.
Wow.
And once I found myself, it was easy. Like if somebody wanted to leave, like, all right then, you know, it got to the, you know, okay, cool. But yeah, you have to find yourself in order to get past it.
Exactly. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to Christy. Christy, what do you say to that, man? Now, how does a person get themselves in a situation where they are just that broken and they feel as though they can't exist or can't carry on without somebody else? How does that happen, Christy?
I'm like the sister, they already came there broken. They're broken before. And a lot of times men can, I'm gonna say men and women. I'm not generalizing. So when I say men, that's because I deal with men. So just know I'm not generalizing.
Yes.
I'm not saying it can't happen to a man. I'm just saying in my goal.
Exactly.
But I've seen how men can prey on women when they know they are broken because they can see it. They know, and they prey on those types of women for a purpose. You know, those women who are told that they're ugly but may be beautiful, they prey on those women. If you're already broken on the inside, that's why I say you have to be whole, complete by yourself before you can enter into a healthy relationship with someone else that's already a person and completed and healed. Too many times, you know, I saw this Facebook post and it was so true. It was this woman and she was cut all up and all nasty looking, and the guy was too. And they said, when you finally meet each other, you're afraid. Because all the cuts and bruises that you received from prior, that when you finally meet somebody that's really for you, you're both of y'all afraid of each other of what's going to happen next. And so I say that it happens because you're seeking something, like the sister was saying, like daddy issues. She was seeking someone to love her like she wanted her daddy to love her. Or you seeking someone to prove a point. Like we all have our deep issues. And that's how we end up with who we end up with. I had to really seek it. I had to ask God. I said, God, why am I constantly attracting men who are possessive, jealous, and want to hurt me? And I had to look deep inside myself to see where that came from and deal with it, because you are what you attract. Okay? And so then even when I did, so that's not in my own mind, I say, if you attracted to me, something wrong with you, so I can't like you. I'm gonna have to find somebody that's not attracted to me.
Wow. Wow. And
no, I'm like, but you know, I was like that for a while. Now, I mean, I know it's funny now, but for a moment I was like that. Like if you was liking or attracted to me, I wouldn't talk to you, because I was so fearful that what I was attracting was something ugly and nasty, and that you were just only showing me that good face for a moment. It took me a long time to get over that one too. So within myself, I try to be whole. And that's why now I do a lot of holistic stuff. I do a lot of meditating. I do a lot of praying. I do a lot of fasting. I try to see what's on the inside of me that is broken, so that I can try to deal with it. Because some things are so deep-rooted. There's generational curses, things that go back further than you can only imagine. Something that happened to you when you were 8 that you carried on. It's things in us that we have to purge out of us. And until we begin to purge those hurtful things out of our heart, that's why
Mhm.
God said He'll give you a new heart, create in me a clean heart, and renew a right spirit within me. So that's why we have to get that heart transplant, because our heart has been through some stuff.
That's true. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, good morning, everyone. It's Anna. How's everyone doing?
Hey, doing good. Good morning. Good morning. Anna, we got a topic going this morning. We got a topic going this morning, and we're talking about, but I can't live without you, and how a person could get to a place, a broken place, where they feel as though they can't live without this other person. And they're in that deep down hole. Anna, how does that happen? And what would you say to that person?
Oh, you should not be able to not live without anybody at any point in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's going into soul ties and all other kind of
Yeah,
stuff. I
yeah.
mean, you should be able to live without whoever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've not listened to the show this morning. I'm sorry, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it was already mentioned. But
Let me
that's
brief
a
you.
little.
Let me
Go
brief you
ahead.
for a second. Cassandra, Christy, and Tina, they're here with us this morning, as well as Donald. And Donald, he's speaking from the man's standpoint. Um, but they're saying that they has actually lived in that situation. They've actually been that person, and they've been broken to the point where they. Cassandra says, she even took pills and stuff like that because she felt as though she loved the person and she couldn't live without the person. And so there's a lot of different things, and they both said there's and everybody was saying that the dad being missing, even with the dad in the house, he was still missing, and so there's a lot of different elements tied in. But what do you say? What's on your heart?
Okay, so you're not necessarily talking about like a relationship between a woman and a man. It can mean like your parent. It can mean like anything. Is that what you're saying?
Well, actually, we're actually coming from a standpoint of a relationship, but we interjected other parts in it as well. But we're mainly talking about it from a relationship.
Gotcha.
If you're breaking up with this person, and then and they look at you, and me and Donna said it from this point, they look at you in your eyes and they're crying, and they say, "But I can't live without you." How hurtful is that as a man to have to look at this young lady and she's telling you that I can't live without you, or vice versa?
Well, okay. And I guess that's where it makes it a little bit complicated for me, the whole I can't live without you.
Mm-hmm.
As many people know, with last month being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I was in that situation, but I was the person who was told, I can't live without you.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not live without you. And I went to literally hell on earth. I do not think anyone should ever put themselves in a situation where you're telling somebody that because you're capable of doing some irrational, crazy things with that. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
for me, that's a very, very
That's dangerous.
touchy.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Huh?
It's dangerous.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. It's
Mm-hmm.
dangerous because of the fact that it nearly took my life. Because someone felt that way, I nearly died, and I literally still suffer after effects from that. So, with that being said, no one should ever get to that. And if you are at that point, maybe you should seek some type of mental help,
Mm-hmm.
because it can get ugly.
Exactly. Donna, what's on?
That's my opinion.
Exactly, and I definitely appreciate that. Hold on, we're gonna go to Donna. We're gonna circle back around to everybody. Everybody, please hold on for me. Donna, what's on your heart, brother?
A broken state that might not be recognized. The only man I need is Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Come on.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
yes, sir.
that's then give up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the only one I need is Jesus, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else, that says everybody else has let me down.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Everybody else are just, they don't want me.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can't do for me like nobody can, ain't nobody do me, sing Chris, do me like Jesus. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
no, yeah,
Exactly.
right. I hear you talking. I
Can't
hear you talking, but that,
nobody
Oh
do
Lord.
me like the Lord.
Oh Lord. We gotta.
He's my
Oh
friend.
Lord. We got.
Ain't
thank you. Now,
nobody.
Oh,
you are
oh, oh,
now,
oh,
you
oh,
are
oh.
now lifting up, march around and come to bring your tithes and offerings.
Good deal. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Rico calling from Anderson, Alabama.
Rico, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I can't complain, man. Just getting on the line listening to you.
Good deal. You been listening in for a minute, or do I need to catch up to speed?
You might need to catch me up to speed, man. I just got you about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, we're talking about but I can't live without you. But I can't live without you, and how broken a person have to be to say I can't live without you. And from the man point of view, if you're dealing with this young lady and y'all about to break up, y'all been going through a rough situation, y'all are about to break up, and she looked you in your eyes and tears, and she said, "But I can't live without you." Rico, how would you, as a man, how would you feel at that moment?
Oh, man. I was in that situation once before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm going to do if you leave me. I
Mm-hmm.
swear I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my oldest two sons came from that result
Wow.
of me making a decision that day to lie and say, no, I wasn't fixing to break up with you. I just want to have a talk with you to see how far we were going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really and truly, I was ready to be done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes you can look out for the other person's feelings and not look out for your own and try to say, well, you know what, man? And you know what? It was really a compassion thing. It worked because the last thing I wanted was to feel like I abandoned somebody that relied on me that much if I had that much of an impact on them.
But see, Rico, and
So
I understand you're a young man at that time, and I know you're not that person anymore. But my thing is, and at that age that you would have happened to you, I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, just put that out there. But at the age where I am right now, I don't want anybody to feel as though they have to depend on me that much. I just don't. I don't. And so, what do you say to that?
but then, I'm going to tell you what happens. If you were a person that was neglected and maybe people abandoned you and you knew what that felt like when like say, because my situation, my home life made me identify with feeling like, oh man,
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
She gave me that same feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and then she sitting there booing when I ain't just talking about crying, but I'm talking about snot bubbles busting out your nose. I want to kill myself. Oh no, you ain't gonna be like that because of my own accord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the one gonna damage you like that.
Exactly.
I know what that feels like. You know that you might end up going through with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's
it was a moment of compassion. It was a compassionate thing that you did. Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Donna, you wanted to say something?
I sacrificed myself a little bit.
Absolutely. Donna, you wanted to say something, brother? Donna, we can't hear you, brother. You're talking to yourself again. Unmute your line.
I'm talking to myself again. Well, I guess that's a point. Where I guess that's a point. You got to start talking to yourself.
Yeah.
If nobody else listening.
Okay. Okay.
Or they can't hear you.
Exactly.
Man, look. I'm trying not to confess.
Mm-hmm. Confess, brother.
I'm like Rico.
Confess.
No, I ain't gonna do it. I can't do it. When you are willing to lose everything to hold on to somebody, no matter what they offer, and you go to the extreme of wanting that person in your life, something is really going on with you. And I don't really know how to help a person like that. But then sometimes men think they have to be everybody's hero. And women feel like and that's just me now. I'm not putting down on
Like somebody needs to rescue them.
I'm just talking. Yeah, but see, both of them are broken.
Mm-hmm.
You run into one out of one broken relationship into the hands of another man that he's broken too.
Mm.
And so
Wow.
here y'all both trying to figure out life, running into each other, remembering the past, and neither one of you can get to the future because of the crack in the road.
Mm-hmm.
And if the blind leading the blind, both of y'all in the ditch.
Mm.
And that's a hard thing to do
Yeah.
because unless you take a good look in the mirror, and I'm going to say this again, I'm not trying to be no holy roly religious nothing, but unless you see what God is, who he is, and who he desires you to be, you'll never get where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all of the things, the hardest scripture in the world to me is all things work together for the good.
Mm-hmm.
How in the heck you gonna talk about everything working for the good? I wish I had a word for that. For the good, when it's raining all the time. Remember Slip Rock? Y'all remember Slip Rock on the Flintstones?
Yeah, Bad Luck Slip Rock. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When the sun was shining and he had a thundercloud
Mm-hmm.
pouring down, raining on his head. People live lives like that all day long, and they got a smile on their face,
Wow.
wearing masks
Mm-hmm.
because they tore up from the floor up, and so they get to the point that say, you know what, Jesus is my friend.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Let me go to Tina. We got another call coming to you. Just one call in just 1 second. Tina, what's on your heart right now?
I like what he said about somebody. I don't want nobody to love me like that. I always say that. Don't love me to death.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's that's my saying. That would really scare me if somebody was to say that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though when I was younger and I, had my moment of weakness, I never said that to anybody to make somebody feel like they had to make a decision. I just knew within myself, like, what am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the thought that I had. But
Mm-hmm.
I would hate for somebody to love me so much to the point where they can live without me. That's way too much for me. That's way too heavy for me.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I said. Go ahead, Tina. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying they mind go a whole different route when they feel that deeply about losing. It's a whole nother level.
That's to me, that's just absolutely scary. We got another call. We got a couple of callers just calling in. We got one from the 347 area code 347. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Light and Bobby Brown calling from all 50
states. His brother said he calling from all 50 states. Man, look here. We're talking about this morning, but I can't live without you. If you've been listening for a minute, man, just pick us up to where you are. What's on your heart?
I can't live without my radio.
Yes, sir.
Man, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I like everybody else. I don't want to be in a relationship where somebody feel that strong about me that they can't live without me. Because you don't know, you don't know if they'll kill you or kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it makes you think about that Susan Smith case that went down like about 25 years ago. When that's the lady, the white lady that drowned her kids in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she did that all because her husband wasn't getting along.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't know, bro. I can't. I don't know what to do about it, but other than try to pick up on the signs early on before I get started in a relationship. Because there was this one girl I was thinking about dating, but she kind of led me to believe that if he went down that road, that she might be like that. She was a nurse, and she scared me. Because I went by the house, she cooked Father's Day dinner, and I go by there to the house, man, and she's a nurse and everything, and some things she said kind of scared me, you know what I mean? And it made me think, well, if I get with this woman and she thinks something ain't right, just think something ain't right, I could be laying down sleep or something, and she might, sticking tranquilizers or something in me. Y'all think about me on forensic files.
Man, hold
bro.
on, man. Hold on, Bobby Brown. Hold on. This is light-skinned Bobby Brown on the line now. This is light-skinned Bobby. Are you telling me this woman scared you off, man? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, honest to God, bro. It scared me, man. I mean, she was talking about this is your room, this could be the room for your kids. She had like a big $500,000 house. Now, I'm not impressed by materialistic things. It's about me and you and our chemistry.
Yeah.
And as she was saying that, I'm sitting up thinking, wait a minute, we ain't even, we haven't even, kissed or anything or embraced or done anything intimate. And she talking like this is your room and this. Nah, wait a minute, hold up, slow down, whoa. And that's scary because it made me think she was on that kind of path, man.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, though. I'm picking at you, but I got to pick at you, but I understand exactly what you're saying. Hold on one second. Let me go. We got another call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Minister Neil.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good morning. Tell everybody where you calling from.
Here, San Orlando, Florida. Yeah.
Good deal. So silly. We're talking about, but I can't live without you. Neil, talk to us, man. What would that do to you as a man? You was in that situation. You looking at this young lady, and she's looking you in your eyes with tears, talking about, but I can't live without you. What would that do for you as a man? It would destroy me, man. Honestly speaking, truth of the matter.
You ever smelled Tennessee smoking before?
Huh?
You ever heard of Tennessee smoking? Have you ever smelled Tennessee smoking before?
Oh, you're breaking up on me just a little bit, man. What kind of fancy phone you got there, man?
Oh man, look at man, it's a hot tech.
We ain't ready for that, man. Our smartphone got a GED. We ain't ready for that. Got to work with us.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Help me go. But you ever smelled Tennessee smoking before? You ever smelled that smoke? Like Tennessee, you ever heard y'all smell that before?
I ain't never heard that, brother.
Oh, okay. Well, that means I'm gonna be running. That's how she gonna be smelling my Tennessee smoking. It's the only world.
Look, I knew where you were going. I knew where you was going. Mm-hmm. But
hey, because honestly, I think we had this conversation one time before, and I told you, man, I said, that day when, I had realized what y'all was saying, it made me complete, and I thought about that. It is the same thing it is with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Only person that you really and truly cannot live without is God.
Yes, sir.
So bring me up to speed. How do a human being talk God? That's just me.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason why I was saying that is because I was talking about earlier yesterday when he came to pick me up from the airport, and we were talking about our star outside with our state captain. And I was telling him, I said, man, it's gonna be a milestone on Friday for me. I said because for more reasons, not just for being my birthday. I said with that, I said you gotta think, bro, 3 years removed from my state captain. I don't take no American.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't tell somebody you can flip me, or I can't live without you. Well, you didn't heal my body.
Mm-hmm.
God healed my body.
Exactly.
I understand that we get these type of people, but at the same token, we gotta understand something. We gotta check ourselves and say, is this something that I really want to? And it's something that I really and truly want to be involved in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have to start checking ourselves too, because I feel like this is God loves us so much. He's gonna give you some time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you didn't know this time. It's something different. Because I always tell everybody, I say, look, I understand that. I was hearing the women talking about abusive relationships. I love that. Because it gradually grows. Because I've heard a lot of women that I've counseled say that to me, that it gradually grew into a physical, and until it got so volatile that it was toxic. I understand that. Because the devil got many ways to trick you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because what happens a lot of times is the devil already knew that God called you for something, and he's trying to deter you from that call. So we have to step back sometimes and say, wait a minute, let me make sure this is what I'm supposed to do. Because sometimes we break the rules.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we have premarital sex. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you do, you invite the devil in. Bingo. You understand what I'm saying? now
Yeah.
he's not infiltrating.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're now being compromised. So sometimes we got to sit back to ourselves and say, wait a minute, is this something I really need to do? This is something I really think I need to do. If I love God, this is something I really need to do. And for the people who say, well, I don't know God like that, you know God. You know God, that's the put you in feet every day.
Is that? Hey, Mister, I think I know what's going on with your line, man. You got that fancy headphone piece on, man. Take that thing off. Talk directly into that phone, man. Take that fancy thing off.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, see that on what you done did. That sound better. Let me do this. Let me go to Christy. You still with us?
I am.
Christy, what's on your heart?
You know, I laugh at the young man that was talking because I could just imagine him sitting down eating and she starts saying the stuff and he just gets scared and run. That's just only in my head.
Hey, light skinned Bobby Brown, he got up out of there. He cut a trail. He cut a trail.
Because kind of like all about a thin line between love and hate. That's the same kind of storyline to me, and she kind of slipped out. You know, it's you know, I don't want nobody to love me to death. I'm like the sister. I don't want nobody to say that they can't live without me. You know, jokingly, yes. You know, the R&B songs lie to you. You know, I give you the sun, the moon, the stars. You know, that's what the music is for. But we can't take things literally to mean that if I have you in my life, it's enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
If I have you in my life, it's because I want you in my life. And I often tell men this and they feel threatened by it. I don't need you to do nothing for me. I don't need your money. I don't need you to do all of that. But I want to share a part of my life with you. It's a want. I want you here. I want to share this with you. I want to do this with you. Not that I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get to that, it's a difference in wanting and needing. I don't need, you know, and so I'm a strong believer in loving people where they are, loving people who they are, and loving myself enough to know whether or not I can deal with that and my limits and who I am. So, you know, with all of this, you know, if I really feel for my sisters and brothers that are in domestic violence situations, controlling situations, you know, but I gotta say this right here because I gotta go because it's 7:30. I'm at my time, but I want to say this to everybody that's listening because we haven't even touched on it yet. We still do not have a president yet. I am disappointed with all my people who did not go out and run to them polls like they should have. You know, Trump is doing his usual. Y'all stay woke. Stay, you know, it's not going to just end today or tomorrow, even when presidency is now. Even if it says that Biden won, you're going to deal with some foolery.
Yeah.
If it says that Trump won, there's still going to be some foolery. I need for everybody to be 10 toes down, keep your head up, keep your pride there, and know that we can live without Trump.
Exactly. Definitely appreciate you. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra, talk to me, man. And this broken person, how do they heal? How do you mend that heart?
Let me be.
Right here.
Oh,
Huh? What you say, Christy?
I just say I'm listening.
Okay.
I just say I'm gonna be listening, but I'm gonna have to get off.
Okay, good deal. Appreciate you. Go ahead, Cassandra.
yeah. I just want to be honest. Some people never heal from that type of a mentality. I mean, and that's a lot because they don't want to do what it takes to heal from it. So you have people that are walking around with serious mental issues because they will not deal with whatever it is that has caused them to feel that way, whether they are the perpetrator or the victim. You have both damaged people that sometimes those people never get healed from that. The most serious thing to me about an abuser or a person that feels like they can control you to that point where you feel like you can't live without is they're narcissistic. And so even though you're saying I love you, I can't live without you, that means absolutely nothing to a person that is narcissistic.
Exactly.
Because they're not feeling the emotions,
Mhm.
the pain that means nothing to them.
Mhm.
So then they will continue their pattern. It doesn't matter what. I did I did a movie role a couple of years ago where I played a mother that actually had her son-in-law killed, right?
Mhm.
And she had her son-in-law killed because he had abused her daughter. Now the reason it was so crazy is that the mother and daughter came out of an abusive relationship. The daughter's father was extremely abusive, used to beat the mother, I mean severely. And finally she ran away from him. But the woman that he got with after her, he ended up killing that woman.
Mm.
He ended up killing that woman. So the mother's train of thought when the son broke the daughter's nose was, oh no, this is not going to happen to my daughter. I know what happened to me. I know what happened to the woman her father married after me. This is not going to happen to my daughter. So she took the law into her own hands
Mhm.
and she didn't kill, but she had her son-in-law killed. This was on an episode of Snap.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the sad thing was that it was a result of continued abuse, a cycle of abuse
Mhm.
that did not break with her. Come on now, think about that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
did not break with her. It did
Mhm.
not break with her daughter. And so she ended up committing a crime and getting life in prison for for having that young man killed. But it's just, you have to figure out what is the best course of action for you to be
Mhm.
healed.
Mhm.
You have to
Exactly.
think about that.
Exactly.
And for different people, I keep
But
saying
Cassandra.
it's not a one size fits all.
Mhm.
For different people, it's different ways.
But Cassandra, you also said that sometimes people just don't want to be healed. No, how sad is
They
that?
don't want to be healed.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
now that's the real sad one. That's the real sad one right there.
Mhm.
Because I deal with women that they say they want to be healed, but they make no effort.
Yeah.
And they will call me, and this is the thing that, as a pastor and as a counselor, this is the thing that disturbs me the most.
Mhm.
We can counsel people with everything we got. We can give them the word of God. We can pray with them. We can fast with them. And then you call me back. Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to step away from him and I'm just going to do it. And then 2 months later, they're calling you back with the same thing. And then you talk to them, you fast, you pray, you counsel. Then 5 months later, they call you back with the,
Mhm.
listen, it's a
Yeah.
pattern. And
Yeah.
sometimes I want everybody to hear this clearly because I said that to say this. Sometimes it takes 6 to 7 times on average for a woman to walk away from her abuser.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow. 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 That's something, and that's something we definitely got to touch back on that. I got two other callers that just called in. So I think the next call online is Paul. Paul, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey,
Good morning,
good.
Cassandra.
I don't think you
You
heard you.
gone?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I haven't seen you in a while. I just wanted to say hello. We've met.
Okay.
I don't think she.
Who?
It's
Paul Posey, the photographer.
Oh,
I've
Posey.
been at one of your. Yes.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing outstanding today. It's a small world. But hey, let's get started with the show. My grandbabies are waiting on me.
Okay, good there. We're talking about, but I can't live without you, but I can't live without you. How broken does a person have to be to look at a person that they're in a relationship with and make that statement, but I can't live without you? What do you say to that?
I can't live without you. Deficits. You know, we're connected to people, and our parents or those who are in charge of raising us are to fill these deficits
Mm-hmm.
of love, education, friendship, family, things that we need to be whole. And when those things aren't given to us, we seek it in other people. And if someone can fill those holes for us, they tend to cling on to them because we desperately need those things. And it's tough because you said, why don't people change?
Mm-hmm.
There's two reasons why people don't change: courage and strength. And when you have courage and strength and you add that with knowledge of necessary change, you can make the change. But if you don't have it, you won't make any changes. Because sometimes to listen to someone who's going to give, like someone listening to this show right now, right?
Uh-huh.
And you give them a great idea that they must change. And when they look in themselves and they says, I can't do that. I don't have that. They're not going, they're going to wait for a pivot point or I like to say a negative stimuli to force them to change. When the same change you're going to do 5 years later, you can implement a year into a bad relationship if you had the courage and the strength to do so. And I think it's sad that we have these many deficits in our personal not character, but in our makeup, that we start looking for people like that to cling on to, even if it's bad for us. But you don't know bad until you know good. So if you're like in my history, I watched my mom have horrific relationships where she was beaten and fought, and she just could not break the cycle to get out of her own way. It didn't spill over in my life, but it took her years and years of abuse to finally move away and change her life and relationships, how she conducted her relationships. And I couldn't understand that. So, it's a personal flaw when you allow yourself to be abused like that. So I can't live without you.
That's a dangerous statement. That's a very dangerous statement. We got another caller from the 318 area code. 318, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Well, hey, that's just me.
Oh, you called back in.
I told y'all coming back.
Okay, well, I did.
Y'all got disconnected.
Oh, okay, got you. Let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? There's a lot going on, man. And how does one carry this? Because sometimes, Rico, if they're not careful, they'll carry this their whole life. From the time it happened, the rest of their life. Go ahead.
I see it all the time. You know what, like what the brother just said, that lack of self-esteem and nurture and neglect, man, that can go on and it can actually evolve into different behaviors or actions. And I keep hearing that song in my head that woman sings, and I'm telling you, I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You're the best thing I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that, and every time I hear that song, I'm like, man, women love singing that song, man, and they get emotional. But I'm like, man, she's telling this man that regardless of what you do, I ain't going nowhere. You're the best thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear her coming from a place of despair. She looking for somebody to love her the way she want to be loved. But when the brother said that a second ago, I agree with him totally, and I want to add one more thing to it. One of the other problems is immediate gratification, and that's why that cycle kicks in. Immediate gratification, that convenience that we've adapted to as human beings of wanting things so quick will cause a person to still keep on laying down and getting that immediate pleasure sexually.
Yeah.
Knowing good and well that they're leaving themselves vulnerable to fall in love and get hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're thinking with their body parts. They're living through their body parts. So they're using whatever thing they can use to get this attention. But that it can work two ways. You have people with low self-esteem that, are relying on people and depending on people, and not understanding that they even have low self-esteem, or they know they're damaged, but they don't understand that damaged people can't help damaged people.
Yeah, come on.
Maybe they can assist each other.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can communicate and try to give each other therapy, but a damaged person cannot help a damaged person. But that's normally what ends up happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if I identify this damage in you and this lack of self-esteem, and I know what it feels like, I might be wanting to play Superman, like Dawn said earlier.
Yeah.
I might feel like, you know what, man, I don't want to be the person that make people feel the way I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't gonna break up with her. I ain't gonna break up with him, and I'm gonna just suffer and deal with it. But I got partners right now, man, that they'll get married. I mean, been married 3 times and divorced already, man. And before the ink even dried on the divorce papers, they ready to get married again. Love it, does. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, that's it. That got to be a lack of self-esteem because they don't want to be alone. And they feel like society, to me, is a personal thing. But then too, you know, we have a issue where societal standards makes us feel like that we have to have a significant other, or maybe we aren't worthy.
Yeah.
If you by yourself, something must be wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Well, what if you just realize that there's a lot of damaged people around here, and you just got to be extra picky because you don't want to go through 2 or 3 divorces.
Exactly.
So I mean, you know that there's different ways that comes off, but I think mainly, like I said, the guy said before, lack of self-esteem, lack of courage, it'll keep you relying on somebody. It'll keep you dependent on somebody. And then, like I said, the next person might go on into damaged people because he like to feel like, hey, man, I helped somebody. You know, people like to be recognized, too.
Yeah.
I helped them. I made them a better person. I had an impact on her life. She was living this type of lifestyle, and he was living this type of lifestyle, and I changed them. You ever seen women get with men that's just totally dogs, but they feel like, well, you know what? I got what it takes.
Yeah. I'm going to change.
I got what it takes. You know, I'm going to change them. I'm going to give them a little sympathy. I'm going to give them a little support. And then there's, the little words, you know, they got all kind of little words for their pocket down there. Yeah. That's the best. Yeah. When he get mine, he definitely gonna know it's special. It's wop, wop, wop is wop is wop. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I mean, you know, it's so many different things.
Okay. Let me do this. Let me and you're right, man. And I think back when you say that, I'm going to go to, we have another call. I'm going to go to that call as well. I think back where women used to say back in the day, and I'm going to age myself a little bit. They used to say this: I'd rather have half a man than no man at all. And so with that, they're actually settling, and they're not bringing forth the best in themselves or the best in everybody else. Kurt, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Kurt, you there?
Yeah, what up, man?
We talked about, but I can't live without you. Now, Kurt, you're in a relationship with this young lady. Y'all y'all going to break up, and she look you right in your eyes, tears, crying, rolling down her face, and she say, "But I can't live without you." Kurt, what is your next move?
That's because you can't live with yourself. It's just that simple. If you can't live without somebody, that means you can't live with yourself. I mean, ain't no other way to put that, bro. I just called in because I just wanted to hear the brothers and the sisters' voices today, just to, you know, give me a little more uplift on my day, man. I'm at work, on my little break or whatever. But yeah, if you can't live without somebody, then you can't live with yourself. And even if y'all break up, right? If you break up, you're gonna have it's like Rico was just saying, you're gonna have somebody else because you don't know how to live by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Donna, coming to you, and then Bobby, coming to you next, Bobby. Donna, what do you say to that? What's on your heart, brother?
Man, I'm having flashbacks.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Cassandra, we're gonna need you to pray in a minute, Cassandra. Cassandra, we're gonna need you to pray.
Lord have mercy. And you know, this bad, and Rico, I think he talked about it. It's bad when you get to the point where you feel like you have to rescue a person, and you can't. And you can't, no matter what you do. And people fall victim to trying to rescue a broken person that don't want to take the time out to find out and to learn themselves or to help themselves out of being broken. Because some people are so broken to the point where they're willing to go through anything. He beat me because he loved what?
That's foolish.
You know what I mean? And just stay there and take it. I know a couple that And I'm trying to figure out what is in this lady's mind, even the guy's mind, that they stay from one place to the other, and they've been throughout most of their life staying in a camper trailer. I had them share something. I did. I had a church that the building we were leasing, and the leaser. When I came to church that morning, they had a camper trailer in the back of the yard.
Mm-hmm.
There was this guy and this lady. They had this. The leaser decided he was going to lease a part of the ground to the camper trailer in the back of the church. What I mean is,
good Lord,
why jacked up, man? But what I mean is, here's this beautiful woman that was so broken in a sense, it had to be. And she met this guy in the woods. This is where they met. What life is that? You see, people live stuff, and man, they have smiles on their face, but they toe up from.
Exactly. Smiling faces.
So, and the worst thing you can do is try to help a person that's just toe up. And we see them every day. You know, most of the time, and that's why I try not to talk too much, because if you hear a person talk a lot, they try to talk themselves out of situations that they can't get out of.
Wow. That's good. Bobby Brown, what's on your heart? We're going to go in this order. We're going to go Bobby Brown. Then we're going to go Neil. Then we're going to go to Cassandra.
Okay. I may lose my signal, man, because I'm driving. But I want to say this. I think a lot of that, too, to prevent a lot of that, I think we have to talk to our kids at a young age. It's like my son, for instance. My son has his first girlfriend at 18 years old, and she just went off the basic training. Now, I had to talk to him, to tell him what to expect, possibilities, is that, because the worst thing as a man, and I can't speak for women, but the worst thing for a man is to go through that hurt of getting your heart broken. You feel like you can't live without, you feel like you can't live without your lady. Because I've been there, as a teenager. And that's I didn't have anybody there, even though I grew up in a two-parent home. My father didn't talk. My mother didn't talk about certain things. So I thought I was gonna kill myself over, because my baby mama cheated on me. You know what I'm saying? And that hurts.
Yeah.
But and I started to kill myself too. I took a piece of glass, started cutting up my arm. I said, "Oh, this hurt. I can't be doing this here. This hurts too much." So I had to mentally get over that, and it took me time. It didn't just take, for everybody. Some people can move on and it'll be fine. Other people, it take a longer time, and it took me some time to get over that.
Yeah.
And I never was at the point where I was going to kill nobody other than myself. But the thing was, I felt like if I had my father to talk to me, to prepare me as to what to expect, possibilities, I might not have been as mentally weak, because now I can handle that situation. And I had to relay that to my sons, and I got 3 of them. My oldest, I think he'll be fine. My middle one, he was the last one to even date. And, it had to start somewhere in that form, in my personal opinion, because it'll develop in your growth. If you don't stop it, or, have those kind of conversations early on with your kids, they may develop into those attitudes to be abusers or be suicidal when a relationship goes bad, and that's not what we want.
Exactly. Minister Neil, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Actually, I'm just listening because it's kind of my year now, so I can't really say, man, because I'm not going to really comment on something that I don't have a lot of.
Okay.
I thank God that I've never met anyone that told me anything like that, or even been in that kind of abusive relationship. My hands on the woman, vice versa thing. I'm kind of like, really, I'm just remembering the information
Okay.
what people saying because sometimes it's not my wheelhouse. So I'm really, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah, no, you good.
That's really not my wheelhouse there.
Exactly. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Cassandra, talk to us about that. Now, there's a lot of different elements, and I want to speak to the counselor in you right now, Cassandra. Talk to us about this person. What is going on with them? How do we help them? How do they help themselves?
First of all, you probably won't be able to help them until they're ready. That's like an addict. And actually, some people, personality addictions are real. You have people that they literally become addicted, and we call it soul ties or whatever you want to call it. But they become addicted to a person, and it's different reasons. It may be that person treats them different than they've ever been treated. It may be a sexual thing. It may be, it's so many different, it may be a financial thing. But they become addicted to whatever that person is offering. They become addicted to it. So then you have to work on that person working on themselves if you want to do anything for them. Sometimes, like I think Rico said that he stayed with. Was Rico the one that said he stayed with a girl?
Yes.
Because she said that's the worst thing you can do, Rico. Unless you.
Yeah, it was.
The
worst thing.
Yes, it's the worst thing you could ever do because then you're in a relationship not because you love that person, you're in love with that person, but you're there for their benefit only. That's not a good relationship. It's not healthy. So it would be better to, just ease out, let her know, hey, I'm sorry, but this is not right for me at this time in my life, whatever. You say whatever you have to do and then you back out. And then this is the thing. You can't keep entertaining the person. And that's a fatal mistake that a lot of men and women make. They break up with the person and say, well, let's just be friends. You may be able to be friends later on, after that person has gotten themselves together. But for you to try to maintain that friendship, especially if the person has an addiction towards you or a soul tie, okay, now I'm gonna be transparent for a minute, and I'm just saying this was before I got saved.
Okay.
There was actually a guy that it wasn't that I don't think I was in love with him, but I was in love with sex with him. If that makes sense to anybody. I'm just being real.
Yeah.
This was before I got saved.
Come on.
But I would,
Come on.
listen, just hearing this guy's voice, and I'd be like, okay, is it going to be your place or my place? That's the way it was with him. Now, this is what happened. I got saved, and he called me. He had moved out of state. I got saved. He and I was at home, and he called and he said, hey, I'm in town. I heard that you at your mom's house. I wanted to come over and see. I said, no. I was like, no, we're not going to see each other. We're not going to talk right now. I said, you're a great guy, but I cannot do you right now. I am trying to change my life. And you have to know your own weakness. Because thine own self be true. So I had to be honest with myself that I had a weakness in that area when it came to that guy. It wasn't so much that I loved him, but I loved what he did.
Yeah. I guess.
So we gotta separate things.
Yeah, and see, and that's real right there because a lot of people are dealing with that situation. That's just real. Ain't no play this big. This grown folk talk.
I ain't gonna pretend. I'm gonna tell the truth on me.
Yeah, this grown folk talk right here. This grown folk talk, and Rico, she said that was the worst thing you could have done, and I heard you agree with her. Talk to me, Rico.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once. They didn't know at that point in time. Well, she didn't know, they're like I said, my oldest son's mom. She didn't know at that point in time that I really wanted to break up with her because I lied and said it was something else that I wanted to talk about. But she picked up the vibe at first, the reason why she said that. So I doubled back because like I said, I'm sympathetic. I know how I feel. And later on, man, she became the most sinister woman I could think of to have a child by. got manipulated. I mean, you know, and what happened then, she manipulated me. But that was how she was brought up. You get what I'm saying? She was damaged. And me, I felt like, you know what, man, I don't like to walk away from damaged people when I know what's going on with them. The sympathetic side of me made me kick in. And then throw the sex in on top, like Cassandra just said. Man, that immediate gratification, that pleasure, man, pleasure will make you go back and be with that person you know is toxic for you. It will make you go back every time, and it'll make you feel better for the time being. You know, and it can be from the most abusive person. And we got the biggest prime example of that is all of the women and all of the accomplices, the other females that R. Kelly dealt with. The ones that stayed in the house together. The ones that knew that his wife was downstairs. The ones that sat in other rooms locked up and wouldn't say nothing to each other. You know what I'm saying? But all because when he came home 2 months later, he might give them some attention because of who he is. You know what I mean? So they stuck around and took abuse. They could have left. I mean, don't get me wrong, he made it hard on them, but it was actually time they could have left and they chose to go back and lie. Because they wanted his they wanted to be just a part of his aura.
Yeah.
You know, even he was amazed by himself. He looked in the mirror and said, man, that's a bad dude right there. He was even amazed with himself. So you imagine how other women feel. The women that go to these shows and they dream about them and they fantasize about them and they don't have the best sex ever in their dreams than they ever had in real life. So I mean, you know, it's different people, man. They lack self-esteem. They want love and sexual pleasure and just they want to be accepted. You know, I remember Cassandra said that earlier about the friends saying, "Oh, you know, she ain't cute." And it's crazy that, you know, I've seen that before where there'll be a group of friends, but you'll have one friend in that group that feel they treat him like he's just the assistant. He trying his best to fit in, but he the butt of the jokes. He don't want to never get hooked up with no girl. If he get hooked up with a girl, he got to get hooked up with the one that don't nobody want. I mean, and it's the same thing with women. I've seen women play that mean girl game. From high school, elementary school, all the way up, they play the mean girl game, the in-crowd game, clique. So societal standards, along with low self-esteem and not being prepared. Because had I been prepared to handle a situation where I needed to look out for myself instead of looking out for somebody that was damaged and I really didn't love no more, I probably would have been in better shape now instead of keeping them around. Because you can't keep them around when you know that it's toxic and you got to go.
Rico, let me ask you a question.
It really, preparation is huge.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Rico, and you can answer it the way you want to answer it. But when that situation happened and you made the decision that you made, was it because of there's also a part of you that was broken too?
Yeah, I was broken, so I knew how it felt to feel like somebody was going to leave you that you didn't want to leave you, and especially if they have been a asset to you, if they have been a positive change to you. Because I actually was a very positive change to her before she started, you know, getting back in her ways. So I mean, and me, my flaw was that, hey, now I feel like I've accomplished something. I've made an impact on somebody. You know, like I said, some of us have a hero complex. We want to make sure we help people not go through what we went through.
Yeah.
We don't want people to feel sad and experience the way we felt. So now we can get consumed with marrying people with low self-esteem and this damage because we feel like we could fix it.
Wow. 678.
Or help them.
Exactly. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 678-381-1973. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, these conversations here, brother, is life. And when you get into a situation like that, and no matter what you do to try to get out of it, because you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting them by trying to fix it. We like to try to fix things. And the more you try to fix things, the more you break it.
Yeah. Come on.
And when you get a broken person that you had a hand in breaking, because you couldn't help him in the first place, you got a mess going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need more than you. They need to get away from you to get fixed or healed or delivered or set free, because it's more than this fleshly desire. It's a spiritual warfare. You know what the worst thing, and I'm gonna just say this, and maybe the sisters can. There's more men and women, but broken church folks. They about to get the best of those. Because you're still running down the aisle, they're cutting up, they got something going on. I'm just saying, ain't nothing wrong with shouting. You know what I mean? But we try to get our breakthrough by allowing other people to see how we react in the imitation praise. The imitation praise. I saw a lady. She was shouting, running down the aisle, and she stopped to take a picture.
What?
She stopped. I'm saying something going on right here.
This don't look right. Hey,
But what I mean is, people are broken, man. I'm just saying. And we break each other.
Yeah.
By trying to help each other. Some people, you do the best thing you do is leave them alone. Sometimes alone is better.
Exactly. Minister Neil, and I'm gonna come to you because I know how you feel about this, man. Talk to us about assignments. And you can't fix everybody because not everybody is your assignment.
Right. I mean, but that goes back to we have to actually know who God is to you and what God is telling you to do. You gotta know his voice. Because sometimes I think something that God said about this, the same phrase, they have to understand about that. Like I said, I don't like using a certain kind of terms because I don't want nobody to feel like they're valuing your praise to God. But I understand what he's saying. There's some questions that comes up, and they question that moment. We have to understand that assignment, like I was saying, there's Sandra speak. How passionate is counseling. I don't hear people. I've heard church talk about it. I've heard Leonard talk about it. So certain people that I've heard talk about those that platform of the ministry. It tells you that that's their assignment. That's what they was called to do. You don't know your assignment because it becomes natural to you. When you hear her speak, it's natural to her. When you hear, I've heard Leonard speak about dealing with abusive women, it's natural to him. I've heard say certain things that's been natural to him. And that's the thing that we have to understand is that we can't always, that's why when people always say,
Minister Neil, we get a real bad feedback. Try take your head.
I'm on. Yeah, because I'm on iDrive. That's why I'm walking. Hold on for a minute.
Okay.
I'm doing my morning walk.
Why you do that? Let me see what you got.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But my thing is that we have to be mindful of that, and I salute them for that because they are actually working in the ministry that God has called them to work in, and that's the thing. See, that's why I'm very liberal. I hear people say my ministry. No, it's not your ministry. It's God's ministry. God allow you to work there. So again, that's why I say assignments. When you go somewhere and the teacher give you an assignment, you do your assignment.
Yeah.
That's not yours. That's because that's what you're supposed to do, what the teacher tells you to do. Same thing, you got to look at it as God. God the same way. He your teacher, so he tells you what to do. We got to stop. Some of these things that we say and do, it's hard. Because we think that we're helping when sometimes we are hindering. Because we figure like, I learned a couple of scriptures. And God allows you to work together. So, and I can say the word. No, you can't say the word because only one person can say the word. He wouldn't have. He the one who hung on the cross.
Yeah.
So stop trying to trump him. I always tell people, you telling me you're trying to trump God now.
Was a pun intended
there? Sometimes step back and just listen.
No pun intended, right?
Sometimes you got to step back and just listen. Right, exactly. Sometimes you got to step back and, well, we ain't talking about that Trump. No. He a joker. He a little joker. He a little joker. No,
there you go. Okay,
well, I'm down here in Florida, but I'm talking about they act like, hey, y'all, they act like a donkey. Y'all know what a donkey is.
Yes, sir. Cassandra.
They act like a donkey.
Exactly. Cassandra and Minister Neil was talking about, like, when you're talking about and you're dealing with domestic violence, that's your assignment because it's so natural to you, and it's just something, it just come natural. What do you say about assignments?
Oh yeah, and you have to know your assignments. There are certain areas that I don't even try to touch it because I know that is not what God has given me. I stay within my lane. And I always tell people, stay in your lane. If you stay in your lane, I don't try to cross over into anything that other people do. Domestic violence, I know that is my gift.
Yeah.
Civil and human rights, those are my gifts. That's where God has placed me. And I operate very well. You start talking to me about finances and I'll be like, okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna need you to slow down. I'm gonna need you to do ABC with me because that's not my area.
Yeah.
And we can do more damage sometimes to people when we step outside of what God has given us. And I'm not saying God can use anybody. He can give anybody a word of wisdom, word of knowledge.
Yes.
He can do that with anyone. But when you are operating in a particular area, you know it, because you don't have to fight for answers. You don't have to. God literally gives you what to say to individuals that pertains to them and that will affect their life.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what it's all about. So yeah.
Good deal.
For me.
Good deal. Donald, what do you say to that? Rico, coming to you next. We're talking now about assignments and knowing the assignment, knowing your lane, and knowing how to stay in your lane. Donald, what do you say to that?
I think about if a brother is overtaken in their fault, ye which are spiritual. Let's talk about the ye which are spiritual. Sometimes we go and we get out of our lane by thinking that's our spiritual assignment when it's not. That's why the body has many members. You can't fix everything. Sometimes it's better to refer them to somebody rather than you trying to handle it.
Exactly.
Especially if you're not led to. We led to everything. We gotta watch it because we have people's lives in our hands, and we go to attack them just because, I dealt with this before. Well, this is a different person. You can't even deal with it like you did the last person because it's, they don't think alike. They don't have the same thing going on in their lives. And if we don't be careful about just attacking because, I'm in the ministry, what in the world are you in what? If we're not listening to the Lord in directing us, we'll go and we be running and we lost.
Yes.
How can you help somebody when you tore up from the floor? That's the worst thing to do. And we do that all the time. We see people all the time. They say that I used to hear a fella say, the Lord told me to tell you. Well, don't he confirm himself?
Yeah.
He give you confirmation. And if you say the Lord sent you to tell me something or to direct me in something, I'm pretty sure he's gonna let me know you're coming.
Exactly. You ain't gonna just show up out the blue.
No. Surprise. Me, you, and God surprise.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
There are several different things that can happen when you come from a broken, neglected household, or when you are, I'm gonna say you are being misprogrammed, lack guidance. You can, if you came from a household of neglect and your self-esteem was low, maybe you were beaten, or maybe you were just ignored. You can either put up a shell and get self-centered, or you can become extremely compassionate and sensitive. There's so many different ways it can affect you. That's why you see a big family of people that went through abusive parents. All the children might turn out different ways. All of them got their little different flaws, you know what I'm saying? And you can't even tell their brothers and sisters because they didn't have that guidance. They had to figure it out. Maybe they figured it out amongst the friends that they picked up amongst their path in life. But with our assignment, you know, it's really important that we know who we are first.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that because I didn't know this at first. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love myself coming up. But, you know, a lack of self-esteem sometimes will make you feel like, well, you know what, it's a waste of time to do this. It's a waste of time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you start thinking it's a waste of time for you to be in certain crowds of people. Maybe you feel like you don't belong in the upper echelon of class or standards. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's superficial reasons that make you feel like that. So, I mean, you know, we really have to instill in our children to know, the future generations, especially those of us that come from that, to know that they need to actually look out for themselves first, but not be incompassionate. You still got to have some empathy.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a person to be so self-centered and focused on themselves to the point to where they can look past or walk past you when you in your struggle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, but at the same time, you can only do so much when you want to help somebody. You know, some of us want to help people and we aren't in the situation. You know, I fall back myself sometimes and say, man, you know what? I really ain't in a place to be trying to help nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got so much stuff that I need to still fix within myself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big dilemma. You know, like I said, can broken people help broken people? I don't know. I'm broken.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to you and other people, y'all would tell me to keep doing what you're doing. You're helping people.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know,
and some
look at that end of it. Can broken people help?
And see, and I answer that question, and this is just me talking. I answer that question with yes, broken people can help broken people. But we back on the assignment. You have to be your assignment. Like you could be going through the worst situation in your life. I've seen pastors say different things, and I've heard Minister Neil say, I've been in a situation, man, where I was hurt myself, and then here comes this person that God sent my way, and he listens to the voice. He know that, okay, God, what do you have me say to this person? And so with that being the case, you're broken. I've heard people say you're broken, but at the same time, you know that, okay, God sent this person that I need to talk to right now, and told me to tell this person this. Now that don't mean that, you know, your brokenness ain't gonna necessarily just all of a sudden just go away. You're still broken at that moment, but you still have an assignment. Mr. Neal, speak on that.
I mean, that's very true, because what happens a lot of the time is that, I mean, just like case in point, when you asking about, y'all started your topic about abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I tell you? That's out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about someone telling me they can't live without me. So I stepped away. I have no problem with that. I'm not so in love with a title that I have to speak on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that when God speaks, God's already speaking to you.
Yes.
Because he knows what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
But what he does is that, I call it the donkey experience, and we all know that story. You know, the great prophet was trying to go down a hill to
Okay.
get in the moon.
Yeah. Your volume changed. Your volume changed back on this, Minister Neal. It was real good a minute ago. It changed back.
And you know, and once, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And what happens is that, you know, we have a darker spirit. You don't know where that word of God is going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
And that doctor turned around and told that prophet, hey, man, stop hitting on me, man. So I told him not to take your kindness, because they're going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
But we understand that sometimes God going to give you, going to see you someone that you remotely wouldn't even think that's going to even speak into your life.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll know it by the voice that you hear
Mm-hmm.
and the words that have been said to you. And you know that's specifically for you and not for anybody else.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that and sometimes that person don't even know they're on assignment. They just might be just as I call when I preach sometimes, I tell people, I'm just a message boy from God.
Yeah.
Meaning that I don't know who I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But this message is for somebody out here in this congregation. And sometimes we have to understand that. We got to stop trying to make it so difficult and think that we have to have all this. I went in fast and all this. Sometimes you don't have to go in fast.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes God say, hey, I'll have drunks come and talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
I had drunks tell me, hey, man, you a preacher. And I was telling them at the time.
Wow.
I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about, 20-some odd years later, I'm a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had drunks check my time, man, you different from the rest of them.
Yeah.
So we don't know where God's going to speak to us and speak into our lives. But the thing about it is that we better pray to God than we able to hear. That's the key to that. That's why when you hear me, when I respond, I'll be like, hey, man, I heard what you said, because that was to me, not to nobody else. I can't speak to nobody else. I know what was said to me. And that's what we got to be. We got to make it personal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stop making it so difficult.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toussaint, talk to me, brother. Unmute your phone.
Yeah, thank you. You helped me out this time.
Yes, sir. So
we go. You was going to ask something.
No. What's on your heart, man? Based on what we're talking about right now, what's on your heart?
I don't know. We talk. You'd be surprised how many people right on this line know exactly what we're talking about. Because we've been there, done that. Because somebody behind us going through the same thing right now.
Yes, sir.
And we really need to our young folks. I say young folks because there are some people that may be listening, or we got children, we got family that seem like they get into one broken relationship and to get into another one because they got women, and I must say this, looking for a Boaz when that's Ruth's husband and he dead. Everybody can't get a Boaz.
Yeah.
No, everybody can't get none. And then another thing, we can't be heroes to everybody. Especially when you just come out of one relationship, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror now. Because I find that out. You just come out of one and it turned out to be a mess. Then you get into another one and you're a mess, starting off. Because you didn't take out the time to be alone.
Gotcha.
To look at yourself in a mirror of life and say, you know what? I love me. If you can't love you, you sure enough can't love nobody else, and nobody can love you either. Because you won't let them, because you keep repeating the cycle and being reminded of the last person that you either broke or they broke you.
Now let me ask this question, because it's just the fellas on the phone right now. The ladies had to take off, and so it's just the fellas here. So, from a man-to-man situation, how does one? And we're gonna come. I'm start off with you. How do we recognize or identify a broken woman?
Oh man, numerous ways. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the most obvious way is a lot of times when she's very sexually loose. You know, when she displays herself, when she lets you know that that's her value and that's how she tries to attract you with her sexuality. You know, that's the biggest. I'm gonna say the first sign right there. But then, you know, you could just start listening to them, and you know, if you take the time to have a conversation with them, listen to what they talk about. You know, are they talking about material things? Are they talking about what kind of money you make? What kind of job you got? How do they approach you with trying to find out? Are you qualified and working? Or are you just a guy with money that they could be, you know, take advantage of? Are they asking you these questions because they're looking for the qualities in you, because they have a standard about themselves because they carry themselves like women, or are they just looking at you because you like a sugar daddy? You know, I mean, so it's just a matter of what their values are. You have to have some conversations with these women.
Yeah.
But, you know, it actually depends on what you want. I mean, at one point in time, if one threw herself at me like a floozy, I had the biggest catcher's mitt you could find. Come on, throw 2 or 3 of y'all throw yourself at me. I'm gonna give you what you want. But now, you know, later on in life, when you start realizing that, you know, you want something better and you should carry yourself a lot better, then, you know, you start reading in between the lines, because now you know. So just like they should know. from the introduction, you know, because everybody needs that ice break.
Yeah.
And sometimes that ice break is good, but now you got to get way past that first impression because they still might just be looking for that one piece of gratification. And all of a sudden, when they get what they want, all the interest they had in you is gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. Tucson, what do you say to that, man? How do you recognize a broken woman?
Itchy.
You get itchy. Did you say you get itchy?
And fidgety. And I say this a lot. I say this. This is me. Y'all might be. They talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to talk themselves out of the situation that they can't get out of. That makes any sense whatsoever. And they come at you rather than you come at them because they're searching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like one of the brothers came on and he met this lady, I think he was married, and she said, "This is your room," and they just met.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I'm trying not to say, brother. I'm really trying not to. But I had a situation where and fell boo-boo the fool. It said, the Lord told me you gonna be my next husband. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. And no matter what you could do, what was done, you could not fix. And I say you could not. You know I'm talking about me now.
Yeah.
You couldn't fix them. Because they were so severely, if something happened, they were so severely broken that they never will let go. To the point where they're ready to be willing to lose everything. To just, I mean, people lose their hair with worry. But and I say this because the more you try to fix it and the more that you allow them to hold on, the more you break them.
Yeah. The deeper you take them into
it
that
takes
hole.
more than you to fix it.
Yeah. Get deep.
You know, this is important. I wish we had better, you know, more experienced professionals than me, because I'm not. All I know is a few scriptures. You know what I mean? And I'm trying not to go through, you know, because people don't want to hear what God has to say. They try to fix it physically when it's a spiritual battle that they fight within themselves because they don't know how beautiful they are as a creation of the Lord.
Come on.
He don't make no mess. He don't make junk. When he looked at mankind, he said, "That's very good."
Yes, sir.
So that means you, whoever you are. I don't care if you're fat. I don't care if you're. They used to call me Black Juju, and Dumbo the elephant, because I was a little dark fella with big ears on the side of my head. But then I had to stop listening to what other folks said about me and start speaking and encouraging myself.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what nobody says. We shouldn't care what nobody says. It's not what they say about you, it's what you try to allow him to make you into what you need to be.
It ain't what they call you.
That he has for your life. And no, it ain't. It's because he's fixing it. He's working it out. And sometimes we got to go through some things to be able to handle the next thing. But see, what we do is we fall apart as we go through the valley. When we're going through, we're not there to stay. None of us are a mess like we see it ourselves. We're a work in progress. But you can't let people mess you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially those that are broken and they trying to fix everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Thank you, buddy.
Man, cut it out. Let's go back. Let's go back to Minister Neil. Minister Neil, what do you say to that, man? What's in your heart right now? Mr. Neil?
All right. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I had to take this thing off the mute button. I had it in my pocket.
Okay, got you.
Well, I mean, what he's saying is very true. Is that validation should come from you and God, not from man. One thing we have to understand is that the Bible clearly tells us in Psalms 118 tells us put not your trust in man, but put your trust in me. So why are we having man to validate us? I don't care what you say about me.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because that'll make or break me. Because I'm going to tell you, that sun going to shine with or without you.
Yes, sir.
Trust me.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I think we got to start taking that kind of attitude, because what it does is that it becomes to be toxic to a point that it becomes, once it's toxic, and then it gets more abusive. And I hear those women talk about, they were talking earlier about some of the things and some of the traits they were having when they started dealing with abusive men. The same way. They started getting abusive. And to the point that he convincing you that you're not who you say you are. That everything that God has, again, I go back to it again. You're telling me man trumping God. So whose fault is that?
Exactly.
Is that his fault or is it your fault? Because ain't nobody gonna sit back and be calling me out my name all the time. I'm gonna be sitting there. I ain't read that nowhere. I ain't read that nowhere.
You missed that one, brother.
I'm sorry. I mean, people might say, well, you gotta give me that scripture. I ain't read that nowhere. You gonna be calling me out my name and all that kind of stuff and going upside my head and thinking I'm cool. No. Because eventually that dog gonna come out and I'm gonna want to fight.
Yeah. Exactly.
And when I get started, it's gonna be showtime. So all that gangster and all that you talking, it's gonna be showtime. All right, okay. You say you all that, okay, we're gonna see. Because I'm telling you, I was looking at something on TV night before last when I was packing. They were talking about women in Indiana prison, and they had a statistic on after the show, and it said, I think it was like 78% of the women that are incarcerated are for domestic violence. They killed their spouse.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's scary, but it's crazy at the same time. So
it's both. It is. It's scary and yeah, it's crazy. It's scary because I just wonder. I wonder a lot of times, and everybody, I guess, have the different breaking points. But what will lead somebody to want to actually take somebody else's life? That's something that's
when you try to save yours. When you trying to save yours, I can tell you when you trying to save yours. Because I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was out there, I just tell people all the time. I say, well, one thing is gonna happen here. I'm gonna make a play for my life. Because that's the life I was living.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a play. Period. You can say whatever you want to say about me. People can say, oh, well, say what you want to say. I was prepared to lay down for whatever they're gonna give me. They're gonna give me 20 years. I would have took them 20.
Yeah.
Hands down, because I know I was gonna make a play for my life. That's just how the devil had my mind.
Wow.
He had me thinking like that. And my whole thing was that you run up on me, you better pick your weight up, because I'm telling you, I'm gonna cock that hammer back. That's how you think. And I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Because I knew the lifestyle I was living. And so we have to understand is that sometimes we have to refrain and step back for a minute and self-examine ourselves and say, wait a minute. This is not what God built me to do.
Hey, come on.
It's not. Why I'm sitting here, and that's why I don't bash from it for staying. But I ask him, what happens when you say, well, enough is enough, and then you go back? I heard a girl say, I went back because of the sex. I got that. But then what happens once the thrill is gone? Then what happens?
Yeah.
Again, that's why God tell you. That's why I tell you. Stop. You was having sex. You wasn't making love. That's why God said, don't have premarital sex.
Exactly.
Because it's nothing. It means nothing. We got to stop using them words and stop doing certain things. So that's how the kind of accent we have. I hear it all the time. Oh, he don't stop having sex with me. Well, stop having sex with him. Make love to your husband.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a huge difference, brother. There's a
Totally
huge,
different.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
spoke that into your marriage right away. You spoke it into your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get mad. You ain't biting the devil.
Yep.
I ain't biting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's time parts out. Tell the man, hey, look at it. You don't have no reign here.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta start taking control of our lives. Took me a while to do it.
Yep.
That's scared.
Mm-hmm.
People don't even know. I came home from school one weekend. They had me downtown for murder.
Mm.
I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
I was in college.
Yeah.
I called my mom. My mama called her classmate. He a judge right now. Well, he retired judge right now in Jacksonville. He could tell you. He had to come in there and get me out.
Mm-hmm.
I know I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But my man said I did it. I was with him. Again, that was the choice I made because I used to hang with them.
Mm.
Sometimes we got to look back and say, hey, what part am I playing in this?
Yeah.
Why keep picking these type of dudes? Why keep picking these type of women?
Mm-hmm.
Why keep picking these type of friends? What I'm doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't never want to we got to start doing self-evaluation. That's what I had to do. That's why I tell everybody, no, I ain't going over there, bro. No. So I know me.
Yeah.
Somebody take me to a strip club, please. All right, I'm going there doing wrist exercises. That's me.
Exactly. Let me go.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, ain't number one truth, brother. Ain't number one truth. Let's go to back to the phone lines. I think we have Leonard with us this morning. Leonard, good morning. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, Morning Glow?
What's going on with you?
I'm all right. I just decided I was listening in to I turned the show on.
Uh-huh.
When I got back, see how y'all were doing this morning. What you talking about?
Man, our topic today is, but I can't live without you. And we started off by, and we, you know how we transition, man. We start one place, we all end up somewhere else, which is a good thing. But we started off talking about but I can't live without you, and I had men and women on, and for the men, I was saying this: if you're in a relationship with a young lady, and you know it's going terrible, it's going terrible, and so you decide, this is it. I'm getting up out of here. Can't deal with this no more. She look at you with tears in her eyes. And she says to you, but I can't live without you. And she's crying, man, but I can't live without you. What is that? What is your next move? What do you do? And what do you feel about that whole situation at that time, Leonard?
I'll send your mom and them some flowers. I'll send your mom and them some flowers.
So basically, they clean this thing up. So anybody listening may not know what you mean. You're gonna go ahead on and leave. If she's gonna kill herself, let her go ahead on and kill herself. You're gonna send some flowers.
Yeah, because I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
You just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anybody that act like that, you don't need to be with in the first place.
And that goes that goes to our choices. That goes to our choices right there. And or our lack of making an educated adult decision as to who we deal with, because sometimes people get caught up in bad relationships, man, for whatever reason. It is what it is.
And not so much as that. You have to be in control of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A relationship ain't about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in control of yourself?
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
That's the key.
That I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I still see that a lot of times, for whatever reason, and people always say this. This is, and Rico, come to you next. People always say this right here. Well, I met the representative. The representative. They had a good representative at first, and then their true self started showing up and started showing out. And now I know who that person is. Man, you really weren't like this when I met you. Oh, girl, what happened to you? Rico, what do you say to that?
I like what Leonard said, man, because like I said, as I gotten older and grown, I realize now, I mean, that's a decision I should have made, because you still got to look out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, you don't want to be selfish to the point of where you are greedy and you do people wrong and you become opportunistic. But at the same time, if you're in a situation where you say, well, you know what, I got to get out this relationship and quit dealing with this woman or quit dealing with these friends because they don't have the same values and standards that I got, you got to look out for you. Well, why would you feel sorry for somebody and keep dealing with somebody that's actually a detriment to you?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere you got to use the logic. Look out for yourself.
I go back to this though. I go back to this in the beginning. You don't know it though, unless you knew that person for a long time. But if you just meet this person, y'all, you know, you don't know. You don't know this person is great.
What did you know? What are you trying to
But when you
say it again,
once you find out,
yeah. Go ahead, Rico.
I was going to say what. Once you find out and they show you who they are,
yes,
then they're a liar. So why you gonna keep on embracing a liar when you know your standards and your values are different than that?
I agree
So I mean,
100%.
it still boils down to the fact that right is right and wrong is wrong. If you don't fool me with a first impression for 10 years and all of a sudden I find out you've been living a whole nother double life, I ain't gonna just sit back and forgive you.
Nah.
I'm gonna get rid of you because for those 10 years you went completely against the values that I stand for. And you don't mean me any good.
Yeah.
So you still got to love yourself enough to not tolerate nobody mistreating you. And especially when you see that, I mean, if I'd have known better, instead of me feeling sorry for this girl telling me she gonna kill herself because she don't even know what she was gonna do, I'd have been like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave you alone because you talking real crazy. You see, I didn't think about that end of it. You know what I'm saying? I should have said, well, I mean, but I didn't have enough love for myself. You get what I'm saying? At that point in time.
Yeah. Got you. Tucson, talk to me. Unmute your phone.
I think that's about the fifth time you told me that.
Did you have to do it?
Man, yeah, thank you. Leonard said something. That's a hard thing, but most of the time, that's the best thing to do. Is you ever see? Well, hopefully you've never seen nobody saying that they're going to jump off the roof. But that's your wolf kicking. Sometimes you got to tell them to jump to help them out because they're not self-destructive.
So basically, you're gonna point to a spot on the ground, say, "Jump on this spot right there, land right there."
Put a bullseye. Put a bullseye on them. So to make sure they have a target. And I say that sarcastically, but we got to watch that too because some people will jump.
Yeah.
Because they're so broken. You know, this is a hard subject because you can either take it seriously or you can take it lighter. Because people every day, you'd be surprised, especially, and I say this again, especially church people that have ignorant pastors. I'm gonna hit another avenue because they in a situation and see. I don't know what it is, but some women are just amazed about men. I guess I said mainly women. Amazed about what their pastors say. My pastor say, and he is not really caring for the sheep. He just like being a shepherd. So he says everything because he likes to have an entourage of women around him to make himself feel good because he's going to do a mess at the house. He tore up. Him and his wife put this beautiful appearance before the people, but they stay in separate rooms at the house.
Wow.
It goes on there. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
No,
this really is. It really goes on.
Yes, sir. I know it. I know what happened.
I'm talking about Reverend such and such, Pastor such and such. He got advice for everybody's relationship, but he won't bring the man and the woman that's married into his office. He take the woman in the office and talk about how bad the man is because he like, and then boy, you got some stuff going on. I'm telling you, man. Then she's so broken that if you bust in the office at the wrong time, she's sitting on his lap. Because she just wants attention because she can't get it at home. I'm just saying how much stuff people go through that is feeling like I can't live without you.
Man, listen. The only reason that woman's sitting on the pastor's lap, because he trying to find out what she wants for Christmas. He playing Santa Claus.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay. But he tore up.
Yes.
He tore up too. Because he can't get attention. He can't get attention from his wife.
Wow.
We got people that are just, man, self-destructive in their own way because they don't, and I can't keep saying this, they won't look inside themselves and see the beauty that lies. I don't need nobody to tell me whether I'm good or bad. That means I'm something wrong with me.
Do you think a person, Donna? Do you think a person, Donna? And I'm asking you, do you think a person? And I'm gonna go to Minister Neal after this. Do you think a person could also find a healing when they look inside themselves and recognize and realize that there's an ugliness inside there too?
You know what? I look in the mirror and I say, "Hey, you nut."
Leonard, what's wrong with your brother, man?
No, but really, it helps me. It makes me help myself so that I won't get besides myself and think I'm the. You know, they got some people think they're the brightest thing on the planet, and they're stupid.
Yeah.
Because they don't listen to nobody.
Good deal. Let me go to Minister Neal. Minister Neal, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, what brothers were saying is so true, even to the point that I'm really gonna pick about something Leonard said. It kind of tickled me when he said it about where do you want me to send her flowers? He and sometimes you have to understand is that manipulation is a very powerful weapon.
Yes, it is.
And we can't really determine. That's not our call to determine if you're playing or you're not playing. Because if you tell me you're gonna kill yourself, I'm calling the police. Period. Hey, here you go. I think you got one because I think she said she want to kill herself. Because I'm gonna try to help you.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna stay with you. It's the difference. And I think that's where sometimes the lines have been drawn because we are at a point that we are trying to do God's job. And when he said that about where you want to send your flowers, he right, because I'm gonna tell you, you kill yourself. I'm gonna say, well, you know, she would date the preacher, so guess what? I go ahead and what you want me to preach over a body, or you want me to do the usually what you need me to do? Because we're at a point right now that life is too short for me to sit here and you telling me you're gonna do something. Because usually if you're gonna do it, you ain't gonna tell me.
Yeah. Yep.
You're not gonna tell me. Now you might be crying out for help. That's the difference. That's why I say I will try to get you some help. But that don't mean that's not mean that I'm obligated to stay with you. We'll stay with people because that's what we want to do. Because we think that we are the fixer. When God is the only fixer. And you know, you and I both love to catch the spirit of what it says, fix your Jesus like I know you can. Isn't that what it says?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. It don't say fix it Neil. It don't say fix it Leonard, Raheem, or Rico. None of that. That's all. Don't say that. And don't say Donald fix it, Don, like I know you can't. It don't say that. So we got to step back for really. That's why I was telling you. Sometimes we are like we want to trump God. That's why I get angry when I hear people tell me stuff like, "Oh yeah, I brought somebody to Christ." You didn't bring nobody to Christ. That was their time. They didn't bring nobody to Christ. Christ come to you.
Yeah.
He said, "Though I stand at the door or not, you gotta let me in. If you let me in, I will sup with you." He didn't say you bring me to them or vice versa. Listen to the language. Listen to what we're saying to these people.
Preaching right. You're preaching right.
You don't have no power. We don't do no drawing. We don't do none of that. The Bible clearly states. He said, "I be lifted up. I'll do the drawing."
Come on.
So we need to stop telling these people these lies. So that's the reason why they want to kill themselves. That's why you still with them.
Because you're still trying to do God's job. And I get very angry about that because the God that I serve, who healed me, I'm going to defend him to the fullest. Ain't nobody come and get me. God had to come down here and change my mind and tell me I wasn't going to die from cancer.
Come on. Come on.
When nobody told me, my mom and everybody was praying for me, telling me, oh, baby, it's going to be all right. You go on. I didn't hear none of that. None of it. So he came to me that night and told me, he said, man, what did John 14, what did I tell you, man? What did John 14 and 1 say? He said, let not your heart be troubled. Because I'll be with you always.
Come on.
So I didn't win the world. I'm going to sit back and tell you, talking about, I drew somebody to somebody. When y'all have a drawing power. So we need to stop telling these people these lies and stop playing these church games. That's the reason why the preacher on somebody's lap, because he's the devil. Because I'm gonna explain something to you. There's no way human possible that I will go anywhere or nowhere with no woman on my lap, and I know doggone well what I ain't about to do. We already know it's gonna be some hanky-panky going on. I'm playing these games. What you in there with the door closed with a woman for?
Come on, come on.
And another woman in there. The Bible clearly states, he says, what, when you go witness, take somebody with you. Why don't you got somebody in there as a witness? Because you know what, you're up to no good.
And
it's biblical.
And Ricky, I'm gonna say this here to you, and we ain't gonna call no names. We're not gonna call no names. But when you came to the studio yesterday, I was in a meeting with a young lady. And how was that meeting conducted?
Yeah, she was on your lap. I saw you. I ain't say that.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
No, but it was across the room, and plus she had somebody in there.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's the point I'm making.
And the door was open.
We set these bars and set these rules because we feel like we preachers.
Yeah.
That's why God said men are called on the field chosen, on the field chosen. You know why he don't want to, that's why he talking about, Donna said something so true. He liked being a shepherd. Yeah, he liked being a shepherd. Being a shepherd, because he was a shepherd, he'll smell like a sheep.
Come on.
That's what, if you don't believe me, read where they found David at. They found him out there with the sheep. I'm so sick of these preachers always playing these games. I'm this, I'm that. So what? You don't have no power. It's power what these people need. And you only get the power from where? From heaven. The Bible tells us that. How do you know that he's been called? Because you're called by the Holy Spirit. It comes from what? From power. You don't have power. So we're exchanging it for foolishness and junk. So he right. He liked being a shepherd. And sometimes I don't like being a pastor. You know why? Because me as a man, I get mad. I can't get mad. I just step back. I have to step back. Because you know why? That person right there might not be important to the ones that are looking at me. My responsibility to a lot of people. That's why I tell God all the time, I say, God, why you call me? He said, because I know you're going to do what I ask you to do. It's obedience. That's why I tell people, that's not your ministry, Slim. Stop telling people that. Oh, I got my ministry and my ministry. That ain't your ministry. Stop lying to these people. That's God's ministry.
Come on.
He allowed you to work in it. If you don't believe me, he said, I got some rocks in the trees that call out my name if you don't want to do it. So how do you figure that that's your ministry? We got to stop saying these things to these people. That's why a lot of people are hurting. That's why they're broken. That's why these churches are so much in the shambles. I tell people all the time, oh, I need to go by church. What you need to go by the church for? When the Bible clearly states that if the 2 or 3 my name, you are there. I say, you and the Holy Spirit. Guess what? God will be there. You don't need no performance. You don't need a whole bunch of folk. You don't even call on him. He said everybody who called Jesus by my name, he said they will be healed and be saved. Why don't we sit here telling folk, I need to be around the pastor. Yeah, okay, you need to be around the pastor because you're being nasty. If you really love that pastor and not love the word of God, you're being nasty.
Come on.
Because you on the banana peel. You on the banana peel.
Yes, sir.
Or slipping.
Exactly.
And we need to stop falling for that banana in the tailpipe trick. I get sick of it.
Hold on for a minute, man.
I get sick of these.
Hold on, Mister. You want to hold on? Let me. I got another call. Let me pull this call in. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Minister Neil going in this morning.
Good morning. This is Bishop.
Bishop, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm great, man. And this lid going in. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you that's why I called, because I was just gonna listen today.
Mm-hmm.
But that brother, he stirred me up. I love what he's saying. And he's spitting the truth, as some would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Christ said this in his word. All these different rules and regulations, these folks teach for doctrine the commandment of men. My pastor said this, well, what did God say? So I thought, man, I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Neal, cry loud and spare not. Cry loud and spare not. Because the folks need to hear and know the truth, brother. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go to let's go to Donald. Tucson. Tucson,
Yes, sir.
what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
We have to stop playing with folks' lives.
Yeah.
And we have to stop letting folks, we have to stop playing with folks' lives, and we have to stop letting folks play with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Seek him while he may be found, call upon him while he's near.
Mm-hmm.
The one that knows you better, the only one that knows you better than yourself is him, because he made you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to ask him. And maybe I'm going too far because some people don't know Christ. So that's another thing within itself. But you can encourage yourself. You can take out time with yourself, because some of these people that we go to, they're sick individuals, and I see why. I can understand why Mr. Neal is so passionate about it, because you got people's lives that are tore up from the floor, and they're seeking people that call themselves men and women of God, and they just want attention.
Mm-hmm.
You see now that everybody got a word from the Lord that's attached to a Cash App and a PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see that though?
Yes, sir.
I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
More than ever now, because of the fact that people can't go to the church. Well, I got a word for you. I got a prayer, and at the end of the prayer, you got to put your Cash App on it. Why you can't just pray for the person if you're seeking, if they need your help?
Exactly.
Because I mean, it's a mess, man. But I'm like this now. Shut up. I can't. I don't have that phrase. I can't live without you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that person that I can't live without. I just don't. We shouldn't get like that.
No.
And if we are, we need some help from somebody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Professionally.
Professional. You're right. Leonard, going to Leonard, then after that, we're going to Rico. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? We got about 5 minutes before we get out of here.
Man, I was just listening. It was good. I like what Minister Neal was talking about, because that's the truth. And I don't know how it got away from folks and how y'all started worshiping the man. But we have to be very careful, especially in times like these. I'm big with preachers get to talking this, that, and the other. What you gonna do? Because all I hear is you talking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna actually minister to people, or just stand there and just tell them what you think that they should know?
So basically, what you're saying, you
really
sounded.
don't minister to them.
So what you're saying, Leonard, you sounding real good right now. But what you gonna do after that talking? What you gonna do? You sound good.
Exactly. What do you do when you come out of the pulpit? What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it shouldn't be such a mystery, or you think you some type of celebrity or something. You're supposed to be a minister. A minister works.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And that's one thing I like about the some other denominations, is that when we call on them, they send those ministers, is because those ministers have to be about business. Mm-hmm. They have to be about the business of that church and representing and going to visit and do all these things. They just don't get dressed and sit up there on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually, like, if you see these Jehovah's Witnesses out here and these Lutherans, they got to get out there and they got to get out of the neighborhood and they got to go door to door. That's part of their stewardship.
Mm-hmm.
You got, even I remember when you used to join the Black Baptist Church. Oh, you just didn't get to sit down.
What you want to serve?
Mm-hmm.
And the person in that auxiliary would come up, so they introduce themselves, and there you go, whether it was the usher board, the outreach ministry, the youth ministry, or whatever, but it wasn't just about coming in there sitting down. It was about preparing folks to tell other people about the word and their experience and their relationship with Christ. It was never about just going to church. And, you know, we used to have the missionary Baptist churches that actually had objectives to accomplish, things that they were going to do in the community. So we have to get back to that. The pastors of today should be leading these efforts in their church. If you ain't got a food pantry at your church, shut it down until you get funded.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just makes no sense to go to church for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to me a bit strange when there's such principles and things that Christ taught. And there's a huge miseducation in the church. And I hope preachers start addressing it. And if they've done things that they shouldn't have, that they admit their mistake and do better.
Mm-hmm.
As the shepherd, you shouldn't allow members to just do nothing. You should engage them.
In something, yeah.
Put them to work, because as the leader, you should say, well, I want to be feeding 50 families this year.
Mm-hmm.
Point somebody in the head of that, and they can get people together, and y'all can feed those 50 families.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He should be giving out tasks to individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He shouldn't always let somebody, now y'all got, I know now, I guess, some churches have boards, and you have to be careful when you got a preacher that's just for hire.
Mm.
He ain't got no vision or nothing like that. All he got is you just hired him because you like the way he preach.
He's a good hooper.
He should have some skills other than preaching.
Other than hooping. Let me go to Rico.
Yeah.
Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Let me ask Donald what the name of that. What's the name of his book before I say what I'm gonna say?
Toussaint?
Fragile material.
Fragile material. Handle with care. Okay. And that's about how you handle the human being, your fellow human being, right? The fragility of the mind and the emotion, right?
Yeah, they're broken people.
Okay. Now, going back to I can't live without you. Sometimes we may have to look at that as, man, this is a dependent person to feel this way. But then on the other aspect, this is why I said earlier it was a dilemma. On the other aspect of that, we can look at it as, man, you know what? They lost control of direction. Mm-hmm. They lost purpose. So now here it is. I can't live without you. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to do this and that if I can't. They're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to control how you interact with them, even if it's against your wishes, because they have lost control. Maybe they're looking for direction. Maybe they are, you know what I'm saying? But that just goes to show you how fragile the mind is. Now, the person being told that, that's receiving this statement that I can't live without you, I ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
They have to look at that with gloves. I mean, they really have to dissect that before they make a move. Because I know earlier I said to myself, I was like, well, man, if I love myself, I'd have just went ahead and moved on, but you really have to look at where that person is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
How depending on how you can handle that, because like you said, they might mess around and kill themselves for real. They might actually go ahead and kill themselves. So it wasn't really about you or them trying to control you, but they really needed somebody to talk to at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have time to listen to them because you were doing you. So I mean, man, that they really, when they reaching out for help, sometimes they still trying to get some kind of control. And so I really think that when you look at that statement and you hear, we have to realize that that's the big part. That's maybe the biggest influence of that whole scenario. Somebody trying to get control, gain control, or just control the narrative. But somewhere they are broken. They have lost control.
They've lost it, yeah.
For them to get that extreme to say, I can't live without you. So you should be able to live without anybody.
Exactly.
You have control and look for yourself.
And that's a dangerous and a scary place to be, brother. That's a dangerous and a very scary place to be. I'm looking at the clock. It's 10:02. Minister Neil, anything on your heart before we get out of here? Minister Neil?
No, God bless you. God bless you guys, and God willing, what tomorrow will be. So
Yes, sir.
let's see what happens.
Okay. Now I'm gonna come back to you to pray us out. Leonard, what's going on at 3:00 today?
If you did not get a chance to hear the show in its entirety, you log on www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3:00 Eastern today.
It's what now, Leonard?
Entirety.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Let me go to Bishop. Bishop, anything on your heart before we get out of here? Then we're gonna go to Minister Neil to pray us out.
And no, other than thank you for your wonderful show, your program each morning, man. Beautiful topics, brother. To God be the glory. Thank God, it's just keep using you the way He does.
Praise God. To God be the glory. Minister Neil, can I get you to pray us out, sir?
Yes, sir. Let's take the cross. Oh, blessed, gracious, and wonderful Father, we come to you at this hour. Thank you, Lord, for another day. Another opportunity to say thank you, Lord, Father God, because someone been with their kingdom last night. We ask you right in the name of Jesus to strengthen us and to continue to keep us. The whole is confusing. Give us understanding of your word and the direction that you have our lives to go. Lord, we ask you right now, we know we're going through trying times right now, Father God, but you know that we're through you. Only through you. Nothing that we repent not to. Lord, the scripture is already clear. It's Philippians 4:13. We do all things in Christ who strengthens us. So we give you all our honor and glory. We give you all the grace and all the mercy that you have to set upon us. Lord, I ask you right now, in the name of Jesus, to each and every one that is here, come out on us. And maybe we may be confused. Maybe not understanding. Maybe on the fence. Lord, we ask you right now to give them the access that they are listening for. Give them the peace that they are searching for. Give them the comfort that they are searching for. Give them the understanding that you are the God Almighty Himself. We thank you, Lord, for these men and God who are coming here today. And those women, God, who are coming here today. We ask you to continue to strengthen them and keep them. Wrap your loving arms around them. Live in the blood of Christ as He laid down and comfort them and keep them from head to toe. We ask you right in the name of Jesus to go forth today, Father God, that you protect us and you keep us. And Lord, we ask you right now, when the yours are called for, I'll say everything. Lord, we pray that you lift the king, you crown each and every one. The blessed sweet name of my King Jesus, I do pray. Amen, amen, amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. We're about to get out of here for today. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the morning glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you'll never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the morning glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. And do me a favor, if you get an opportunity, give somebody some love today. You just might get some love in return. You have a great day. Love you. Be blessed.